Hello, everybody. I'm trying to wait till more people come in so we can go ahead and start live. Today's live is going to be about sometimes the side piece wins. And welcome to the chat. My name is Tamira. I go by SkitLanta commentary. Wait for some more people to come into the chat, and I will be back. Hi, everybody. I don't know if y'all can hear me because my headpiece is out. Mm. I'll be back, y'all. I'll be back. Let me mark that down. For my games, I play games sometime on here. Still adjusting everything. Probably had it too high. I feel like I got it too low. Drop it low. Drop it low. Give me a second, y'all. I'm a bit of a shorty. Gotta make sure I have the thing right. I don't know if y'all hear me because my headset ain't in. I gotta go wash my hands real quick and I'll be back. Got something on that, something sticky. I think it was from when I was doing my hair. So let me go wash my hands. I don't know if y'all can. Hopefully y'all can. Just wash my hands. I'll be right back. I'm gonna put my little thing up. Give y'all some colorful stuff to look at. I guess. I was sounding awful hot like you, but I guess it wasn't my bus. Hello, Chad. How y'all doing? To the live. I am back. I hopefully my ear set is pretty good, but just in case y'all can't hear me, let me put it in my ear. Hello, Layla. How you doing? I should have got me a water when I had left out of here, but I didn't. Now I think I'm gonna feel it in a minute. How y'all doing? Gomez, welcome to the chat. And I'm sorry, I'm not gonna try to uh make anybody feel any kind of way in this chat. So I do like to know who I'm talking with, whether you're a male or a female. So if you're gonna talk to me, put a 1 in the chat for a male and put a 2 in the chat for for a female. So at least I know how to address you or know where you're coming from. Because sometimes people start talking to me, I don't know if I'm talking to a man or a woman, and things can kind of get a little crazy, and I don't want that to happen here. Can everybody hear me fine? If you can hear me, please put a thumbs up in the chat so I know that my I'm being heard. Do y'all hear me? Because I don't know until somebody respond. Hi, how you doing? Do y'all hear me? Because if not, I need to fix my volume. Can y'all hear me? Thumbs up, thumbs up. There we go. Give me a thumbs up if y'all can hear me. All right. So I know today's chat or tonight's chat, should I say, is a little, woo, I know she didn't. Well, it was a little catch on people saying that clearly you're the side piece. Absolutely not, baby. I don't play those roles. I ain't never been nobody's side piece. Not willingly, I haven't. If I ever found out somebody was lying and then they made me that, baby, bye bye. Yeah, I'm gonna boom blow you up. So I do not believe in the side piece role. I do not. I do believe in the sanctity of marriage and that a couple should work it out. So for all the people that are in my chat right now, how many people are either have that significant other or they're married? Because I don't want to exclude relationships out because that's how marriage happened. Typically, you're in a relationship first. So if anybody that's inside the chat, let me know whether or not you're in a relationship or not. Okay, when we're having these discussions. Well, this live came from, of course, Country Wayne. What my name kind of derived from, SkitLanta, the Skit in Atlanta, SkitLanta, and I'm a commentary. So we talk about on my channel all people perspective, whether we like to listen to all sides, whether it be male or female, and we try to learn from either people previous experience or just to see how people are thinking. Because a lot of times the breakdown in the relationship is so communication. That's all. That's the number one thing. Really, it is. It's communication, knowing how to talk to each other. Most people are talking at instead of listening to whoever they're talking to. And a lot of times in on my skits that I not my skits but my commentary that I do actually do skits on my own. So sometimes you'll see somebody going like that's me. I make characters of my own. Okay. But the ones we're talking about here is Country Wayne. So sometimes when I'm talking to people on the over the phone via text, of course, because that's how we can talk to each other with the video. Sometimes those messages might come across misconstrued. So I be trying to read it. I read it, then I read it out loud and say, "How does that sound?" But some of them be coming through like they got some attitudes. You know how we used to do back in the day? Oh yeah, I mean they be having some bad attitude. That boy they be coming at me, but because I do like to look at things from all sides and from all people's perspective. So I'm going to look at it from the side chick view. I'm going to look at it from the husband's view. I'm going to look at it from the wife view. I'm going to look at it from the girlfriend's view. I'm going to look at it from whoever point of view that is being presented as. And then once I do that, I'm going to use my head and my wisdom that I these. I'm 50 years old, but I haven't had wisdom for 50 years, y'all. I'm going to use the wisdom that I have gained over the years to give my opinion on what I think. And I'm a very observant person. I am. Okay, so y'all, I pay attention to a lot of things that people do not. And then I analyze those things that I do. For the ones that do not know me for the country wing and they know me for YouTube tips, because I do YouTube tips and everything else, I dig deep into everything. Like I am a true researcher to my core. My path is law. So a lot of times you'll be hearing me talk about the law and how the law look at things because when I went to school, originally I started out studying criminal justice. My whole thing was I wanted to be a criminal justice attorney. That's my passion. But because of my own life situations, my life turned to family law. And so therefore I started studying family law. I did not get to complete law school. I did not get to go off to be an attorney, but I've always had the love for law. So I continued to study as much of law that I could, and I help people in various parts of my life and mainly my own throughout various different things. So I'm very aware on different laws and on different states because sometimes I had to offer advice for people or help people in something in a different state I was in. And I myself some of my stuff have crossed several states, and I had to get real acquainted with the laws quickly when it came to family law. So I do have a bit of knowledge of family law. I've learned through my as far as research and all that great stuff. But on here, we're talking about relationships. We're talking about the side piece. And we ain't talking about that piece that you put on y'all side. Pew, pew. No, we ain't talking about that, y'all. We talking about that side piece that, oh, Shayla Shay. Y'all like to call her Fiona. Y'all like to call her Bigfoot. Y'all like to call her all kind of things. We're talking about that side piece. The side piece that everybody loves to hate. And being that, and I gave y'all that spill about me because I just wanted y'all to kind of get an insight on who I am. I share a lot of my story of what happened throughout my life. I give tidbits on stuff that happened to me to my community so they can get to know me. I myself, just like I told you, I'm a researcher. So everybody that I talk to over all my videos that I respond to, whether I respond to you with a heart or whether respond to you with a heart reply or a like or an actual message, I go in each and last one of y'all's profiles and I go look to see who I'm talking to because I want to know who I'm talking to, right? I want to get a feel of who y'all is. Y'all already get to know who I am. So that's what's taking me so long to respond to a lot of people because I want to see if they're just trolling me or they've been on the platform for a minute, interact with me. And I got a pretty good memory when it comes to really getting to know people here. So I can remember who I talked to, especially when I got into some deep conversations over the text, because I don't know anybody personally from here. Other than a couple people that know me personally in life, because I do have family and friends that be checking in on my videos too, and they'll be talking to me on there, and they know my situation, and some of them know a lot about my situation. I mean, deep information about what I've went through in my life. So I am dubbed an open book, y'all. For then I'm doing this for the ones because I got a lot of new subscribers that I came along. So I'm doing this so y'all can kind of get a refresher on who I am. I'm like an open book. A lot of people don't feel me the right way because they probably think, oh, she ain't being honest. That ain't true. Yeah, that's true. I don't mind sharing it with you, as long as it's not too personal. And I do that so that I can help as many people as I can. So when I'm looking at everything on these videos, I'm looking at it from all perspectives. When I do the skits, the overview for the skits for Country Wayne, I don't look at absolutely nobody else's stuff. I do go into other creators' platforms after I'm done doing what I do because I don't want to be influenced by what they say or what they don't say. I want it rawly for myself. So, and I'm kind of slow, y'all, with the technology. Like I can pick up on a lot of things. I see a lot of things. I'm computer savvy enough. I'm not like super advanced. You can clearly see that with my lives and doing them from the phone, y'all. Okay. So it takes me a minute to do them. So I know some people, I had a couple of people like, man, I was waiting for you to talk about this or waiting for you to say something. It takes me a little bit. I'm watching. Trust me, I ain't missing absolutely nothing. I am a Country Wayne fan to the core, baby. I'm like I told Angela, and Angela is one of my viewers who have been there for a while, and she might pop up here. Like I told her, baby, I was there too from the beginning. Okay, so it was not all these different stories. When it was just Country Wayne and a few of his friends, especially I told her Desi Banks, when him and Desi Banks used to act out all these different characters. So I was there from the beginning. So I see a lot. Every now and then something might slip through and I don't actually get a glance. And Angela, she helped me out today when she was like, "Oh no, it was on this one." I said, "Man, I don't think I've seen this. Although I've heard this information, I don't think I've seen this actual skit right here." So brought it to my attention. So, like I said, and since I gave y'all this brief overview of me and who I am or whatever, so y'all can kind of get a picture. A lot of people seem to think, oh, you don't be in the side piece. Oh, one girl called me hypocritical. I'm like, God damn, these people saying all this stuff about me don't know me at all. I'm real cool. I'm real there, but I'm a very fair woman. I am. I'm a fair woman and that has been blessed with wisdom throughout her life. And wisdom, y'all, let me tell y'all, it don't come from. Well, let me back that up just a little bit. Sometimes wisdom can come from God, and He just give you wisdom like that. But for a lot of people, He don't just give wisdom to. he gives them wisdom by putting them through a lot of things and have to learn from the things that they do in order to obtain that wisdom about whatever they're going. And sometimes when you don't learn from it, he has you to go back through that thing until you can figure it out. So a lot of times people be saying it's karma, but really it just be they didn't pass the test the first time they went through it, and God is just sending them back through it in order to open their eyes to what is really going on. So I am real in tune with a lot of stuff, y'all. So don't take me wrong when I be saying something. I'm just trying to get you a different perspective. Like I'm not a one-sided person. It's not just this person's side of Amber. I'm not Team Amber or Team Anthony or Team Shayla. In fact, as far as I'm concerned, they all are part of the problem. Every last one of them. Every last one, including y'all beloved Amber, is part of the problem. And it's a little bit about her that makes me feel that she's not really being genuine. She's portraying genuinity because that's what she wants him to believe because she's trying to make herself believe. I truly believe that. I think a part of her just wants to believe in that she could do this work her marriage out, so she's forcing her hand. And that skit that Angela had sent me today, and I watched. Even the pastor himself, Pastor Chris, he said that he wasn't gonna try to make her stay with him or anything like that, but just let God do it. Let God lead you. Don't you? He basically was just saying, God lead you. Don't listen to me. Don't listen to nobody else. Let God lead you to do whatever you do. And he told her that. And that was during a time where she was ready just to throw in the towel, right, and say, I don't want to get back with him. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. Um, because Angela sent it to me because I couldn't remember what Pastor Chris knew about Kai being Anthony's child. So she sent me that video to let me know. No, he knows. And I was like, oh, okay, thank you, thank you. So I did go back and watch it, and I just want you to know that. Um, but I was also picking up on some other stuff. And okay, well, she was warned. You know what I'm saying? She was warned not to do that. So she knows not to force the hand, but she is forcing God's hand. And the way you could tell it, y'all, how you know she's forcing the hand of God for those Christians out there, and I'm gonna put perspective for the non-Christians too. But how you can tell that you know she's forcing God's hand is because she's really not with it. You can say what you want out of this mouth, man or woman. You can say whatever it is that you want to, but it's what you do in your actions that tell everything. And especially with that guy, Darren Anthony, don't listen to absolutely nothing that come out of your mouth because it's a lie. Only look at his actions. And right now, his actions is not saying he wants to be with his wife, even though his mouth is definitely saying he will be with his wife. But his actions do not. Remember when Brittany was saying it's not what he say to your face, it's what he's saying behind your back that you need to be concerned about. And behind her back, he ain't saying nothing, not to defend her. So what makes you think that's a man that wants to be with his wife? Y'all, come on now. Look at the signs. Don't be so naive. Don't be because and I think what it is a lot of people because of the things they went through and may not have necessarily healed from or pretending healed from and really that they're not, and then when something happens you see them in that side, or they're constantly dwelling on it or something like that in a negative light, not in a positive light, because people can talk about stuff, but it's you the way you want to know whether or not it's for you or not for you. Look at what they're saying, the result of what they're saying. Does it offer growth and negative positivity? Then you know maybe you're on the right path as far as the end. But if it's always negative and it ends in no growth, or I don't know if I should say the D word, but you know that because you just want to sense of God and everything. But if it ends the other way, other than life, let's put it like that, it begins with D. Then maybe it's not the right thing. And sometimes things could be wrapped up into a beautiful package to make you believe that, yeah, this is it, but really it isn't. And so, what triggered me with Amber was when they were in the yard, and it was her facial expressions that she had, especially once Brittany pointed out to her that he was just putting on a show and he was really Lucifer, walking form in manifested form. He was Lucifer. It was that look that she gave him, and really that look triggered something in me that I had a long time ago, and I was like, oh no, something snapped at their backyard. Something snapped within Amber in their backyard. But you can clearly see her having a stroke. She wants to do the right thing. She pulls back, but now all of a sudden it seems like she's all in. Up until last night when she asked Anthony the question about whether what Shayla said, and he lied to her, and something within her let her know that he was lying. Well, one, Shayla's her best friend, so she's friend, right? Two, she somewhat knows her husband, and this is where we're gonna get into the side piece sometimes when she somewhat knows her husband, and the reason I say that is because realistically, outside of the legal documentation that that Amber is his wife, Shayla has been more of a wife to Anthony than Amber has. Not now, so don't go trying to lynch me to the cross. But I'm talking about overall. If we look at it, Amber and um Anthony, Amber and Anthony only dated for a short period of time before they got married. And then right after they got married, they had problems because Anthony was running after Rolanda. And then he was trying to divorce her. He felt like he jumped into the marriage too fast, which he did because they didn't know each other. And he thought he was going to let Roe because Roe was about to get married to Malachi. Right? So he initiated the divorce the first time. And then we all know Amber ended up messing around with Wayne, which is the great debate whether or not she's justified in everything she's doing or how she's feeling, and everybody else should be reaping karma. I use the karma because I don't really believe in karma, even though I say karma. I believe you reap what you sow, which other people do call karma. But she deserves everything she's getting. And I'm starting to see where that's coming from. I really am paying attention to what a lot of people are saying, and I see where it's being fed at versus looking at the full picture and what is really going on. So they want to bash Shayla, but don't bash either one of the other ones that did anything. And this is where I tend to split with a lot of my viewers because not that I condone what Shayla's doing, but Shayla couldn't cheat on herself. It also makes me think of the woman that they brought to Jesus for those that are Christians, and it was ready to stone her to death. And I see you, Clarence Jackson. How you doing? I'm gonna answer you in a few minutes. Hey, Chinara. Hey, how you doing? It almost made me feel like the woman that they brought in stoned by Jesus because she was caught in the affair of adultery. And the first thing Jesus asked was, "Well, where's the man?" Because it basically means you caught her in the act. So if you caught her in the act, where's the man, right? You only brought this woman in here to. Oh, okay, I will. After this one, check it out, Trainard. You only brought this woman in here to stone, for her to be stoned because of what she did, and rightfully so, y'all. I'm gonna be real. Back in those days, if you got caught doing something like that, you ain't gonna know divorce court. They just basically stoned you to death, right? But and I said the word, stone you up out of here off the face of this earth. But Jesus said, where is the man? If you caught her in the act, she couldn't do this by herself. But everybody wanted to blame the woman, and nobody wanted to blame the man. So basically, Jesus had said, well, he who is without sin, go ahead and cast the first stone. So if you want me to do it, then you do it if you don't have fault for anything that you have done. And when he looked back up, Jesus was drawing something in the sand. He wasn't paying them no attention because he already knew the outcome. He already knew that every last one of them was trying to stone her had already seen some dirt themselves, so they couldn't stone the woman, right? So she was set free and was free to go. And so that's what this reminds me of when I Shayla. Everybody wants to stone her to death. Everybody wants to throw these rocks at Shayla, right? But nobody Anthony played in Amber face. Yeah, he did. Anthony did play. He played in both women faces, But everybody wants to throw the stone at Shayla because she was the best friend and she seduced him. But nobody want to look at the fact that Anthony said he was not that drunk and he knew what he was doing, which means he wanted to sleep with him, right? So how could you be mad at Shayla if you're not mad at Anthony? You got to be equal because they both did the same exact act. He was her husband, she was his best friend. The husband had more of a commitment far as the marriage than the best friend did because the best friend commit to Amber. Anthony did. But yet nobody wants to see it. Right? That's because everybody around here is talking about Shayla and trying to take it off of the man. And that's because everybody's been doing that forever. Why? I'll tell you why. The women who husbands or boyfriends cheat on them, they not finna be talking about their man. They will, and when they first out, they pissed off. Oh, you hurt me. I can't believe that you did this to me. I'm not gonna be with you again. Oh my God, you ain't gonna have nothing. I'm gonna take you for every goddamn thing you got. That's how they gonna be, right? This is the woman who significant other is her husband or her boyfriend. That's how they be. I know myself. I done been there too. I done did it myself, right? So you're going to say all this stuff to them because why? You are hurt. You are hurt as a person. So you're going to lash out at the person that did it, right? What tends to happen? Normally the person that did the wrong, either they humble and they like, baby, I know I did that, but I didn't mean to do it. I'm a little bit weak and I did something in the moment. But please forgive me. I'll never do it again, baby. I swear to you, I will never do it again. Right? Or they'll say, man, I was weak. The alcohol did it, man. I had too much to drink and she was there and it slipped up. If she was the woman, she's going to make it seem like, oh, he was coming on to me and I was trying to tell him to stop, but he just kept, or I drunk too much and we just, or I tripped and I kind of fell in there, or I dropped it like a just a little bit too much. I mean, everybody's going to have all the excuses in the world when it comes to them being the one that is doing the cheating. Hi, Lee Pritchard. How you doing? I see you. I see you. And there's the bomb. How you doing? Everybody that is doing the cheating and all this good stuff, they're gonna have every excuse in the world to win you back, right? Initially, the person's going to be mad at you. Let's just cut the bull. It's going to be mad at whoever cheating on him. The only time you need to be leery because a person ain't mad at you about what you're doing, either they done got fed up and tired of what you're doing, or they cheating themselves. They just really don't care. Okay, so but if right, cheating go against the vow of God. Absolutely, I'm with you 1,000%. But I'm trying to show everybody what's actually happening with this whole storyline and typically what's happening in life, right? So everybody's going to come against the cheater regardless because the cheater was the one who caused the hurt and the pain. But this is where it happens. This is where the split begins, right? Once the initial heart has sat in, all the apologies in the world done happened. They done either bought them a whole bunch of stuff, showered them with gifts, gave them money, or made them feel good, or told them how beautiful they was because they was the one who messed up, or did this and they did that. Thank you, preacher, or did this or they did that. When it came to trying to make up, or finally became the person that the one they cheated on wanted them to be up front, then the person that got cheated on, typically they forgive them, right? So now it comes down to here's the other person. Now, who that other person is, it might go all kind of different ways, right? Typically, if the person who got cheated on found out that they significant other, husband, wife, whatever it is cheating on somebody, they lash out at the person that they're cheating with. That's just a natural reaction for most if they don't have the same type of feeling that I myself have when it comes to this. But initially, they lash out at the other person. Then you have some that don't lash out at the other person. They just want to find out what's going on, but then the other person come at them and then they lash back at them, right? I fall in that category sometimes if I can't withhold my rage, and I'll be honest with you. Right? And then you have those that listen, they go to the other person, and no matter what the other person says to them, they're nice about that to the other person, as long as they're willing to listen and talk to one another and sort of work it out, whatever their understanding. Now, once that cheated on person talks to the other person they cheated with, the mistress, the side piece, whatever you want to call it, because the side piece, I'm going to say side piece for the sake of this lie, the side piece or whatever. Once they find love your T coaster earrings. Oh, because they so big. I love big earrings. I love big earrings. And y'all don't forget to hit that like button, y'all. I see y'all up in here. Go ahead and hit that like button for me. If you're not subscribed to the channel, subscribe to the channel. Okay, so after that whole initial meetup or whatever, typically what happens after that, you lush baby, I'm not really sure what you mean by that, but um after that initial thing happened, and depending on what's going on or what transpired, now let's remind you what transpired with Shayla and Amber. Amber found them. Amber jumped at Shayla. She popped her in her eye. She gave her a black eye. Shayla ran out the house. Anthony ran down Amber. Amber ran out to Shayla. That's it. That's all that happened in this. That's it. Nothing else happened after it was done. Anthony went running behind his wife. Running after trying to find Shayla or trying to get away from his wife because he wasn't running to his wife. He was trying to run away from his wife because his wife trying to hit him with that car and he didn't know what she was going to do to him, right? So he was trying to get up there. And he had ducked into the woods and called Dalen. Let's remember what happened now, okay? Nobody really had a conversation about what happened, what or nothing. Matter of factly, even now, they still haven't really went into the details of what actually happened around the cheating. Everybody just know they cheated, they had an affair or whatever. Now, back to what I was saying about Shayla being there for Anthony longer than Amber has. She really has. Because if you think about this, right after they got married, you want to date with you? I'm not talking about. Shortly after they end up getting married, what ended up happening was Amber and first it was Anthony and Roe, the whole little situation with that. Then he tried to file for a divorce. Then Amber went back and got her man. So this ain't the first time she went and got her man because he was wanting to cheat. He didn't cheat, but he wanted to. The only reason he didn't was because Roe didn't let him, right? But right when she got ready to let him, Amber popped back in and she got her husband. So this ain't the first time. So let's stop acting like, oh, he just made a mistake. No, he keep making mistakes. Okay, he just keep making. This is just who he is. Anyway, she brought it back to the house. Right after that, Shayla started hitting on him, and voila, he ended up going to the house. He was a little drunk. Shayla ended up going over there. She seduced him. They slept together. Next morning, he woke up. He acting all confused. Oh, why you did this or whatever? He runs up out of the house. Next day, he come back. They're talking about it, and then that's when he slip up and he says that he wasn't that drunk and all that other stuff. And Matt, I think he said it a couple of times. One time when they was talking, I think it was when they went on a vacation to LA. Nobody had knew about it. He was talking to her again then about how he wasn't that drunk. But anyway, they end up having sex again. So at that point, the very day you slept with her again, you wasn't drunk, and you persisted to do this for over almost 2 years. And people say, oh, Angela was wrong when she said 2 years. No, she wasn't. It takes 9 months to make a baby. That baby is almost 1 years old. It's almost 2 years. 2 years. So they hadn't even been together for a whole year married. That's why Anthony, he kind of couldn't the fact that she could tap into all his stuff, and we weren't even together that long. He like, how she can get all of that fair? How can she get all this stuff? I mean, we weren't even together that long. He has together more with Shayla as a couple than he has his own wife. And that's just real. And even when they was dating, his wife wasn't even with him. She ain't. So let's just keep it real, okay? So sometimes the side pieces do win. And why do I say that? Because sometimes after all praying, all the stuff that that God can do for you, sometimes he doesn't make it work out in your favor. Me, you, a couple, Lee Pritchard, I don't even first know you like that. So no, we are not no couple. And nine out of how old are you, Lee Pritchard? Um, making sure I don't miss nobody because I see it's going up. Okay. And I be hitting my hand. Y'all know from my story, I'm a fighter. I be sitting there hitting my hands, and when I be making videos, I be slapping I be moving around. And when I tell you these little things, they so sensitive. They pick up everything. They pick up everything. Like I just sat here and I punched my own freaking hand, and I was just doing it on the thing, just talking about it. Look at this, y'all. I made a bruise inside my hand just by me doing it. That's how I'm real heavy handed. I really am. And I'm sitting here talking. I got all hyped up, and I done made a bruise inside my goddamn hand. Um, but sometimes it happens. Oh, you're 44? I'm 44 years young, baby. All right, you know what? You're only as old as you feel. And I'm only 6 years older than you. I'm 50. But okay, all right. Okay, but anyway, back to the story. Okay, sometimes the side piece, they do win, y'all. You was right. Shayla and Anthony are the better couple of the Amber. That's why Miss Angela so mad with Anthony. Well, I think there's a 2.4 when it comes to that Angelina. It ain't just that. It's more to it than that. I think it is because bro, everybody seems to think Angelina cheated on Brody. Angelina didn't cheat on that man. Brody been cheating on her, and she even said it in his face, and he admitted to it. So he's been cheating on her whole life. They've been together since high school. This man has cheated on this woman her whole life, and she just keep accepting him and keep staying inside that loveless marriage. So what I think is happening is she doesn't want her daughter to be like that with a man, but yet she's pushing her daughter just like a man that is like her husband, a man that constantly cheats. She's looking at it like, well, I stayed with this man all these years. He done cheated on me. So you be with the man that cheated on his wife and you are going to get a different outcome. In Angelina's crazy behind mind. She seems she is doing is right, but it's wrong because regardless, a cheater's a cheater. Regardless if he married or not, if he's cheating, he's going to cheat. So if he's willing to cheat with you, he is willing to cheat on you. And that is what has happened with Angelina. I think Angelina then became a bitter woman. Angelina, I'm almost certain back in the day before she flipped it, became the Evelina that we know on this YouTube, the Woody Woodpecker that we know on this YouTube. Y'all from O'Neill TV like to say the Roosters, whatever y'all call these people. She probably was a good acting woman, something similar to what Amber was, but now she's a bitter woman because she has allowed herself to stay in a loveless marriage, and she has thank you so much. She has allowed herself to stay in a loose marriage, and she allowed herself to put up with so much from her husband, and she don't want that for her daughter. And she for some reason she got it twisted. She got it twisted thinking if her daughter be side piece, then she'll get the better end of the deal because she got stuck in a loveless marriage, which is absolutely insane. No, it does not work that way. If he's a cheater, he's going to cheat on your daughter, whether he is married or whether he is single. And this is why I say side pieces sometimes win. Because sometimes the person that did the cheating does end up with the side piece. Sometimes they do. And sometimes it looks like they're winning. Um, I just wanted Shayla and Anthony to make it. Amber needs to move on from for Anthony. Let me ask you something, Clarence. Why do you want them to make it? I didn't necessarily. Okay, I agree with a lot of stuff that you say, but I'm not necessarily saying I want Shayla to be with Anthony. What I'm telling you is I think they probably will be with Anthony because Shayla might be with Anthony because even though a lot of people don't believe this, Anthony loves Shayla. Let me tell you how I know Anthony loves Shayla. And it's a twisted kind of love from both of them. And some people are like, that's not love, that's obsession. Well, love can fall into the obsession arena. It can. It is what it is. People can be madly in love and madly obsessed at the same time. Some people say it's because of lust. Well, that is what to grab somebody's attention because you ain't peeping inside their brain and see what's inside their head. You're typically looking at the outside of their body, what they look like, and what attracts you to them. Fall in love with them either because they maintain their look or it's something about their character that you like. And then some people, let's be real, they don't marry you because of your character. They marry you because, like on my thing, I had a trophy wife when I was announcing the live. They look at you as a trophy wife. They look at you as something, as some type of prize versus or possession versus who you are. And is that considered love? In their eyes, yes. In other people's eyes, no. But to them, yes. So and Anthony really loves Shayla. I'm going to tell you why. People seem to think that he is allowing her to belittle him as a man because he is scared of her, or he thinks she's going to take Kai and let him see Kai. He ain't got nothing to do why Anthony is letting her do this. Because when Anthony is right, he stands up to Shayla. So it got nothing to do with it. Whenever Anthony is right with what he's saying, like for instance, when he brought that baby back in, they was trying to have a simple conversation, but then she kind of went off the deep end. He was like, Shayla, you know you was wrong. And then she was like, what you mean? He was like, you know you was wrong. You just ran out of here and you just left me with the baby. And she was saying, well, it's about time that you spend time with the baby. I have mixed. I don't quite like how she did what she did, but that was his father, so he can spend time with her. And I don't care how you look at it. You could flip it and say, "Oh, she just ran off and left her baby with him. She don't know what he was gonna do." This man has been with her for almost 2 years. She knows what he's to do and what he's not gonna do. This is his child. He doesn't want to be there. He wants her to be there to take care of responsibility. So this man was not gonna do anything to his child. Now, irresponsible, absolutely, because instead of putting your baby on your lap and driving to the store for a car seat, you should have got on your phone, put in DoorDash and ordered a car seat and had it delivered to your house, then went over to there. But you were so ready to go off on Shayla that you didn't think about your child. Hold on. Amber needs a new man. Yes, she does. Because of Kai. It's sort of because of Kai a little bit. Anthony realized that he doesn't love her. He's seeing her for who she really is. He is in love with the facade, and it's not real with Shayla. And unfortunately, I think this is where you might be a little bit wrong. Some of it I do agree with it. And some of it is a facade and all that. But I really do think he loves her. And only because it's a sick kind of love. Don't get me wrong, it's sick kind of love. But I think he really does love her. Because when he's Shayla and Anthony does not need to make it. Shayla needs to learn her lesson. She's going after or covenant another person's spouse. Shayla needs to take care of her son and get a job. That is correct. Absolutely what you're saying. But however, Shayla is not the only one that needs karma. And so what's happening is people is either you're going off of something that you had and you're not healed from, or you're going off of what other people or the majority is saying. And if you notice, what the majority is saying is they're blaming Shayla or they're blaming Amber, and almost just a small portion is blaming all of them, and then even smaller portion is just blaming Anthony. Okay, let's be real with this, and that's because society has always been like that. Society wants to throw everything on the woman. When it comes down to what Shayla did, it was the woman. She was at fault for leaving her child and running out their door and leaving her child with it. It was the woman's fault. But what about Anthony's fault not spending time with his kids? But when you go to talk about that, they want to say, oh, no, no, we're not going to talk about it. No, 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 no. We got to talk about it. We can't just not talk about one thing without talking about the other. People want to direct your narrative on stuff. That's why when it comes on my skits and on my videos, and they be trying to quickly make a negative remark, check them on their remark if it is something to check them on. If they're valid in what they're saying, it's just their opinion, they ain't coming at me. Okay, you're fine. You can agree with it. But what it happens is when you can get one person to say something, you typically, if you can get one, you can get one more, and then it just keeps rolling and keep rolling. So all you're getting is one-sided narratives about a situation. Your mindset will turn to a one-sided opinion about something. So that's why when I told at the beginning of my life, I told you I look at and go to other people's platform. But before I go to anybody's platform, I want to see it for myself and see what I think for myself. So when I'm giving you my videos, I'm giving you what I saw when I saw it. It's just taking me a minute to do a lot because I do a lot of editing with mine because I use their videos when I record voice and I put it on top of their video. So there's a lot of editing that comes on with mine. So it's not a quick just jump on there, put it on out there. No, it's a lot of editing. So I look at mine first. I record what I'm gonna say. I mash it together, and when I upload it to YouTube, then I go look at what everybody else is saying. And then I want to see what they said because I don't want it to be one-sided when I'm looking at the full picture. Okay, but what haven't seen the love for Shayla yet. Oh, and you're not gonna see it because that mass majority they can't stand this girl. So much so she did a video where she was talking about people seem to separate her from her character because people seem to think this is her in real life and that's not her. You know, they got so much hatred for this woman that they even willing to look at the facts of the matter. And they're not going to do that. Shayla loves Anthony. And here's the thing, Shayla does love Anthony. And it wasn't for her mom always in her ear, like a lot of y'all be having all these people putting you one stories in y'all. If it wasn't for her mom in her ear talking to her, Shayla wouldn't be doing absolutely none of that. Because the minute he would have brought his baby out, if her mama never would have talked to her, never would have said anything to Shayla, Anthony would have came over there to come talk to Shayla about what had happened. Guess what? This would have been a totally different scenario. Because he would have been able to win her back over and she would have went for it. In fact, when he came over to the mother house, she was wanting to open the door. She said, "Mom, let me just," and she told her no. The mama is orchestrating everything. Shayla Hart is for but because of what she's listening to for her mom, she's blocking him from being able to speak to her. And so it's affecting her negatively. So now she's going to project that out to him because Shayla really does love him. And if she can get her mom, and I'm not saying this to say for them together, I am absolutely not saying it, but I'm just trying to get y'all to see something. If she can get her mother out of her ear and just make her own choices when it comes to this, we're going to see Shayla has none of those ill feelings toward him. All she has is love for him because he's the father of her child. She's the man that she obsessively, delusionally went after. Yes, she did. I do agree with that. But it's her world, it's her love for him. Although it's toxic, and I myself not do it, it is love to her. And we can't say what's love for somebody else because you don't have the emotions that they have for them. Just like nobody can tell you why you love somebody, you can't tell nobody else why they do. Regardless if you think it is whether it is real or fake. Okay. Just like with it's really sad. It really is, right? Honestly, Shayla character can be redeemed. Put her with a man everyone loves. Let her get a job, learn a skill, and get counseling, and take care of her son, and let her run into the one she loves. Now, let me tell. Okay, WW. I just read what you said. Let's do everything that you said, right? Get Shayla out of the picture. Shayla is off with another man or whatever, and he's spending time with his kids. I'm going to give you a couple of things that's going to happen with this scenario when it comes to Anthony. Well, Aaron will have nobody else to go to other than his wife or parent, right? What's going to happen? He's going to be back with his wife. If he did not change with his wife, he's going to go to another woman. It's either going to be with Perry because Perry trying to shoot her shot with him as well, or she's doing conniving, or it's going to be somebody else. Unless any change, he don't mean none of them any good. He can stay with Amber all he wants, and he'll end up in a Amber will end up in a loveless, just like Angelina, if he does not change. And that is your opinion. I'm not coming at you for your opinion. I'm just using your opinion and showing you what could happen because that is just the realization of how it is. Shayla can leave, go on with her life, find another man, leave Anthony alone like y'all want to because it's the covenant of the God, of the Lord. But let's be clear, God don't put all marriages together. And so for all y'all, and because you married, God approved of it. No, he don't. Some of your marriages he don't approve because he ain't to get with them. You did that on your own. Okay. So whatever you gotta go, that's what you just got to go through because you chose it. Okay, God didn't tell you to go in there. Right? You didn't go to God about marrying this person. You only went when you started having problems. See, and that's the thing people do. People go to God and want to God when they got all these problems. They don't want to go to God before they started having problems so that they don't have these issues maybe. Because you can still go to God and still have the issues. But it's like, and first she shows that. While y'all praising her as a virtuous woman, Amber is not a virtuous woman. And when I say I was Amber, I was Amber in all sense of the word, except I never cheated or absolutely anybody because I don't believe in doing that. But I went through exactly what Amber went through. I was married. I had a husband who cheated on me. Oh God, this man was trying to talk to a whole bunch of different women because he just thought he was Don Juan of them all. He was handsome, but baby, you ain't that thing gonna find, okay? And he thought he was gonna have all these women in line to all these women. I was there. I had to talk to every last man that he talked to see what was going on with my husband. Okay. And I prayed and I was there on my hands and knees praying to the Lord because I was trying to heal myself from who I used to be. And guess what? It still didn't change him because he didn't want to change. All right. He didn't want to change. And you can't force Christianity on nobody. Matter of factly, God don't even tell you he gonna force himself on you. Either you want him or you don't. So if God himself ain't gonna force himself on you, how could you do it alone? The thing is, with her whole marriage is out of order. It's out of order. There's no order in her marriage. That's how I know God is not in that marriage. Why? Because the man is the head of the house and the man leads. Anytime you're in a marriage and the woman is leading, you are not in the order of God, because that's not how that works, baby. The man is the head of the household. Whether your man is weak or whether your man is strong, he is your head. And Amber is not that. Amber is not that. I'm sorry. And so for all y'all to comment, so oh, she's a queen and she's leading her family, you're off. Your thinking is off when it comes to a marriage. And that's why a lot of marriages don't work. Really, it is. It's because the wife do not, she's supposed to be a helpmeet to her husband. She's not supposed to be head over her husband. Her husband is supposed to lead. And even if he falls and he falls weak, she is to be there to support him, and then he is supposed to lead no matter what. So if my husband was down and I am his helpmate, I do whatever I need to do for my husband. I encourage him. I speak to him. I do all those things, but I never try to take the lead. I allow my husband to do that because the moment you're taking the lead, you are emasculating your own man, even as a godly woman. I want y'all to know that. Shayla is emasculating him as a carnal woman who isn't godly. But Amber is emasculating him as well by trying to put everything on her shoulders. Remember when he said that he felt like his shoulders, the world was lit off his shoulders? Why he felt like that? Because he finally thought he was in and he wasn't going to lose that house or his money. That's that's his whole game plan. That man ain't caring about Amber right now. That man is thinking about his money and his house. That's why everything is happening on the porch, because he's about to lose that house once Amber figure out what you're trying to do to her, or if she hasn't already figured out what you're trying to do to her. Also, they're trying to show you where the significance is with Anthony. His driving force is his house. That's all it is. Remember, he was on the phone and he said, "I'm not with investments and stuff. I'm into real estate." He literally telling y'all everything y'all need to, but y'all let it go over y'all head because y'all so faded on Shayla when you're not looking at the full picture. And that's because people are putting that in your head, and therefore you are believing what they're putting. They're doing subtly. They not, and it's not. I don't think they're intentionally doing it. I think they're doing it because this is their life. This is how what happened with them. Something happened that they didn't heal from. And anytime you're putting something out to somebody else and you're not healed, whether you know it or not, you're damaging that person. So that's why I tell you, you can't let everybody pray for you, y'all. You can't. Because some people, they pray for you and they pray in the wrong spirit over your life. They're praying that's why you'll hear people in the churches say, if you ain't got it right in the church, then you can't hold leadership standards and stuff like that, because whatever you got going on, those spirits are falling upon everybody in that sanctuary. So they have to make sure that these people are pure and true. And thank you, W 100. And the thing with Anthony is Amber. I could say right now, let's say right now, if I say, in God I'm not, so let me, Lord, Jesus, I'm just giving them an illustration. Okay, let's say that I'm not believing anything God says, right? That's why I say, Lord, let me, you gotta be careful with the words coming out of your mouth. Your words are more powerful in the any two-edged, okay? Y'all don't realize it, but you can speak stuff into existence, okay? So that's why I say, Lord, I'm just trying to explain, Lord. Okay, so, but let's say I say whatever God said, I'm not believing no more. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing that. And it's me. I'm the one who's doing this. I'm the one who's creating all this stuff, and I don't believe anything that God says, right? But what I'm saying is the truth. What I'm saying, but it's not it's not delivered in love. So whatever stuff I put out there to people, although it's true, it's tainted because my spirit ain't right. Right? So when you take things into your hands as whoever you are. And I'm not trying to tell everybody that you have to serve God because that's a personal choice. Once again, nobody can force anybody to do anything. I know I love God. I'm going to serve God. And I'm going to try to live my life to the best ability that I can with the Lord. But you do whatever you want. I cannot do that. But when you talk to me, I'm going to always talk in a godly perspective because I believe in my Lord, Savior Jesus Christ. He died on that cross for my sins. He shedded his blood for me, and he didn't have to do it because I could have been going to a burning hell. I know about 10, and I'm being real. 10 times I almost died, and he allowed me to be here on this earth. So I'm gonna always speak when it comes to God, God, Tamara is always going to talk about God. Okay, not to say I'm always right. So by me saying that, not to say I'm always right, y'all, because God be convicting me a lot. And a lot of times when I be talking on my thing, a lot of stuff and examples that I'll be giving you are not about other people but myself. It was me before I changed. It was me before I allowed God to heal me and how I thought or whatever. So when I'm coming down on someone where it seems like I'm talking about them, half of the time I'm talking about self. Because the one thing, until you can heal yourself, until you can deal with yourself and fix yourself, because you can't nobody else out there. Here's the thing. I'm telling y'all all this and I'm hoping it helps somebody. But whoever hears what I'm saying, they have to get it. They have to apply it to them. They have to see whether or not it affects them or not. And if it don't, if it does, it does. But if it don't, take whatever and let it go out. You will hear this come from out of my mouth. And that's how each and every one of us have to be, because none of us can save anybody. So while Amber is sitting, I keep smelling like somebody's cooking something. I'm ordering down here cooking something, but while Amber is praying over her husband, and the wife does sanctify, the Bible says the wife can sanctify the husband, sanctify the wife. All that does is says that they can pray to it and hope that they bring them over. That's it. Because as a husband, he cannot save his wife, and as a wife, she cannot save her husband. Neither one of them can save anybody because one thing's for sure, they can't even save themselves. Okay, they're going to need God and Jesus in order to do that. Well, here's the thing, y'all. We keep saying God, but unless you go through Jesus, you ain't getting to God anyway. So let's just be real. All right. So on all that other. So all this, the thing with Amber, we got one skit where she picked up that Bible and she was talking about the virtuous woman. And I almost laughed when I seen that. I think I did a little bit. I was like, oh my goodness, are we gonna head to the virtuous woman? What have we done so far that's screaming virtuous woman? I mean, this woman has she slept with her ex-boyfriend up until she got married. She got married to him in deceit because she really didn't love him and that she wanted. She held all these secrets about all these different family members, and secrets are lies because they're curses. I mean, she's done all these things. She has not been a virtuous woman. She's a God. You'll hear me say she's a godly woman, meaning she knows of God and she seeks of him. But just because you're a godly person, don't necessarily mean you're a virtuous person. You're a virtuous woman because of the things that she does that does not scream virtuous. A virtuous woman gonna go through whatever she has to go through. She's not gonna date. I mean, I'm being real with y'all. If you're a virtuous woman according to the Bible, you're going to go out and date absolutely nobody while you're still married. I don't even care what your situation is. You're just not gonna do it. Why? Because that's not a virtuous woman. But this virtuous woman had two boyfriends, and two, might I add you. A lot of people like to think. Right, they do. A lot of people like to think that she only talked to Victor, but actually for a brief moment she did talk to Kelvin. She was trying to give them two a chance. They had on kissed and everything. They had on went on dates. They was really getting to know each other. But what ended up happening was she saw him hug his sister and got jealous. And she thought it was some woman he was with. And that goes to show you she wasn't even healed because this man wasn't even hugging on another woman. He was hugging on his goddamn sister. You just didn't give him a chance to say that. Okay. He was hugging on his sister. She got jealous and then just blew up and oh, it's just another man just trying to screw me over. And then she was all by herself, didn't even give herself time to heal from that. And then she was off to Victor. And yes, that goddamn Brittany talked her into doing it, but she still was off to Brittany. Victor. So she's not a virtuous woman, y'all. She's a woman who's using that Bible as she's a woman who's using that Bible because she's in a time of need where she needs him. When she doesn't need God, this Bible is going to go away. it's not gonna first be any scenes anymore. You're not gonna hear anything about it until another problem arrives, and then all of a sudden we're gonna go quoting Bible scriptures again. That's not how a virtuous woman work. A matter of fact, I said you probably would have this Bible stuck to your neck with all the problems that she's going through right now. As a virtuous woman, you always be like, let me tell you, let me tell you, for someone who went through this process like this, you're gonna be like this. You're gonna be like, Lord, please give me, please, please tell me, Lord, please, Jesus. You're gonna be praying on your hands and knees day and night. You're going to ask for guidance. You're gonna be running from the church to the pastor to your dear friend or family member that is full of ghosts that you might not have in order to restore in you what you need. That's what a virtuous is going to be looking for. This. She's not going to, oh, I get something in my head, I hold on to that, I keep talking about that over and over, but I never pick up the word again. That don't even first make sense. She's not going to quickly forgive the way she does. She doesn't. This is why Amber is either trying to convince herself or she's lying because she's not even gonna go for it quickly. Come on now, she's not gonna do that. It's gonna be a extreme struggle. You can't force this type of change, not even on yourself. That's why I think they need to separate for a minute. Just separate. Not I ain't say divorce because I don't believe in divorces. They should separate and they both should get healing. This is why everybody needs to heal from one relationship to the next. I don't care if it's your husband or it's your boyfriend. If your heart got broken, until you heal whatever that broken heart was, it's not fair to the next person that you be with to bring whatever you got going on from that last relationship to the new relationship because you're being unfair to the one that you're with. And what's going to end up happening if you do not, if you do not fix what's going on with you, what all you're going to do is bring over issues you had from the last relationship that you had issues with, and you're going to now bring them on to the new relationship, and you're going to project whatever you had going on in that relationship onto this new person. And that's not right. You are going to have your issues with this new person because you got to learn this new person. He got to learn you, she got to learn you, however y'all relationship is. Like that stuff take time. That's not instant. And let's talk about Kai, any woman who is honest with themselves. That's why I say this story, it almost seemed like at some point, it almost seemed like, because I told my story, it almost seemed like they went back and they looked at it or somebody saw this and tried to make a story out of it. Because it's literally the story of my freaking life. Okay. Let's look at with Kai with Kai with Amber. This was her best friend. This was a baby that she brought into the world. You hear me? She helped Shayla deliver her baby. This is her godchild. Okay, she loved this child. Now to find out this godchild who she adored. By the way, she lost her baby. I lost my when I said on my video earlier today, my son Malachi. I like him so much. My only surviving son name is Malachi because I lost the son before I had him. Okay, and so I understand the pain that she's going through. I lost my baby from my husband on that note. So understand that I'm not insensitive to that fact. I've been through that. I've almost died on that operating table when they had to give me a DNC because my stomach went from almost 4 months to it like I was already 9 months and almost bled out on the table. They had to put a tube down my throat in order for it to clear my airway and try to pump my stomach back. I understand. So don't get me wrong. So people like be trying to act like I don't know what's going on. Baby, this is my life. I've lived this. So I know what I'm talking about. So please don't come at me. So sometimes I have to catch myself because y'all, God got me, but my mouth is still slick. And if you're gonna come at me, you're gonna get it. Okay. I'm not always, I'll be honest with y'all. Okay. I'm not always there. But I understand. I get it. I get what y'all talking about. I have been there. I have been the wife that has been cheated on. I have been the wife that had to forgive. I have been the wife that didn't forgive and was hurt. I had to heal from all that crap. I had to, So I get it. But the one thing my core has always been before a Christian, now that I am a Christian, before anything, my life has always been you don't blame somebody else for something that the one that should have been committed to you did, whether it was a relationship or whether it was my husband. No, I'm not dating this person you cheated with. I'm not married to this person that you cheated with. I ain't got nothing to say to them people. They don't owe nothing. I want to deal with the person that's around here lying to me in my face, telling me that everything's all right, around here cheating on me. That's the one I want to deal with. Well, you understand because it ain't your best friend. One, well, here, listen to this. One thing for sure. I only had one best friend my whole life. That's it. And after that, I got one sister who is not mine that is a very close sister, a very close person to me, who I look as a sister. Hold on, I have to put this on. Who I look as a sister, that I would leave my life in her hands, and she ain't even first my blood sister. But she's not my best friend. She's my sister, and I can tell neither one of these women will do anything like that whatsoever. Okay, and one, because we have boundaries with each other. Neither one of us. Now the other one, we haven't hung out since we were in our teens, but it was even that when we was. We would never have other female, or me as a female, and they're in a relationship, dress a certain way around their boyfriends. Be at the houses when their boyfriends are not there, or especially not no husband. You ain't got no business at my house if you're my female friend, you got business at my house if I'm not there, okay? And vice versa. If you got a man, I ain't got no business at yours. It's got to be some type of boundaries, all right? So no, I've never been in that where my best friend did that to me, because if anybody that to me, they're no longer my best friend. There's no reason to even have no conversations, okay? But at the end of the day, I don't have to deal with my best friend or so-called best friend. I still deal with my husband because he's the one who took those vows with me. I don't care what she did to you. And the reason why, even if we want to go with even if we want to go and say he was drunk, let's give him that one time. What happened after that? The next day he came back? And 2 years up until a couple of days ago, he kept back. What happened? So how come nobody has this much animosity towards him like y'all do Shayla? It makes no sense. Either y'all got something going on here, or that blinded, or it's back to, like I said earlier, it's because whoever done cheated on you forgave them, and so you'll feel dumb if you're not blaming somebody else because you're with the person. That's typically why they do it, y'all. They don't blame the person they want to get back with, the initial blow up, because they want to be back with them. How dumb would they look if they always yelling and fussing at them, but yet they know they're gonna cheat on them? Come on now. I don't care whether or not it's a Christian or a non-Christian. You're not gonna do it because you want. Amber is doing all this because she wants to be with her husband. Because guess what? If she did not want to be with her husband, she wouldn't be doing all this. Her husband would be a low down, dirty MFer. He done had the baby. She would be talking just as bad about her husband as she was before he came back to the house. But what she don't realize is her husband is only there because he's trying to keep his house and his money. So let's put it all into perspective of what's going on. Stop being blinded by the circumstances and look at the facts, okay? The reason why Anthony is not blowing up at Shayla, because just like Shayla said, the reason why she didn't fight Amber because she knows she was wrong. The only time you will see Anthony taking crap from Shayla is when he know he is wrong. Shayla is wrong because she got an issue where she want to put her hand on people, right? We kind of figured something was going on with her delusional mind when she had to make this whole little relationship up in her head about Anthony before this man even knew she was even attracted to him. He was hers from the beginning, right? Hold on. I'm angry at Taylor character because those type of people, if they don't get reprimanded for instance, they keep doing it and are not remorseful on who they've hurt. Okay, so WW11, let's take that statement you made right there. Why isn't everybody going after Amber even with that? The type of person he is, he's narcissistic. Because the type of person he is, if you don't reprimand him or he don't see no repercussions of his actions, ain't gonna change. And he ain't gonna be remorseful for the people he hurt. And narcissistic people put on the act of remorsement just to suck you in. But once they got you and they got the cause back in you, you're gonna see they weren't remorseful at all. So if what you're saying of Taylor is true, how come it's not equally as true for Anthony? Anthony karma could be him losing all his assets. You're right. You're right. You're right about that. Me and you will not have no arguments there. You're right. That's going to have to be Anthony's karma. Anthony's karma has to be what he loves the most. Anthony karma has to be him losing his money. People like to think Anthony's karma is him finding out Kai and his. Let's talk about that. As we know, far as the skits, Kai's his. That woman did not change no DNA test. This is just a storyline everybody around here making up. Okay, that's all it is. Because according to the storyline, he is Anthony's child, right? But even in the event he isn't Anthony's child, what kind of karma is that going to be for Anthony? Because there's no karma. That's a relief for Anthony because he ain't got to worry about his money going out no way because he didn't want the kid anyway. That's not how karma works, y'all. Karma doesn't work because you lose something you never wanted. Come on now, that don't even make sense. While it may be true about Anthony, the difference is that Amber had a choice. We cannot for a choice, and we cannot be ignorant of it either. But she still has the right to choose. And you're absolutely right. Ian Gray Taylor, I agree with you. That is her choice. My only thing with Amber is make sure you're doing it because God told you so, and not because you're taking matters into your own hands. Because if she's doing it because she wants it and her choice to want it, right? But she's portraying it like she's doing it because God is leading her, it's not going to work out in her favor the way everybody keeps saying it. You cannot pray for God to help you and then take matters into your own hands. You can't do because what's going to happen is God is going to back away and let you take care of it. And in the end, it's not going to work out the way you think it's going to work out. But if you sit back and you let God do it, like you act like you're trying to let God do it, then it will work out for your benefit, even if it didn't work out you wanted it to. And see, that's the difference, and that's what nobody wants to pay attention to. Everybody wants to, and this is my problem with people quoting scriptures. Everybody want to quote scriptures, but they don't want to read those scriptures before, in the minute, in the after what they're saying. They just want to read that one point what they're trying to make, but don't read the whole meaning of what the scripture meant, right? Because if they did that, then a person could see what the whole word is. The Bible says, don't add to or take away from my word. But when people do that, they pull away from what God's really saying because they give you what they want you to see and what you want to see only. So what you're saying in Gray is correct. That's her choice. Everything is a choice for us, right? And whatever we decide, we have to deal with the consequences of our actions. The only thing I'm saying is if this is not God led, like she's saying it is, just like Coca said, you don't have to worry about nobody else's wrath. You're going to worry about God. Same thing even applies to her, even if she's calling on the name of the Lord. If she is saying go and God is telling her to stop, he is going to back out of that, let her go, and it's not going to work out the way she wanted to. Anthony needs to lose her. Anthony needs to lose her house and business. People, I think you meant him. Anthony needs to lose his house, and business people need to stop. Stop. Hold on, I'm on this wrong. Okay, sorry. Anthony needs to lose his house and business. People need to stop saying Kai, not Anthony, and Kai is in baby. Absolutely. Right now, as we know, Kai is Anthony's baby. Another thing a lot of people are saying is Shayla is not Anthony's family. That is an absolute lie from the pits of hell. Okay, let me tell you how that's a lie. Okay, it's from the pits of hell. Because let's go back to Sarah. When Sarah couldn't conceive her child and she didn't conceive her child since she was 90 years old, what did Sarah do? Sarah took it upon herself to use her handmaiden to get pregnant as a surrogate for her, right? But then God told her he was going to bless Sarah. Hold on, y'all. God told Sarah he was going to bless her, right? Even though she took matters into her own hand. And see, this is what Sarah messed up because had she would have took things in her own hands, Sarah might have had a baby before she was 90 years old. But because she did take it in her own hand, God made her wait a whole long time before she could conceive her own child, right? This is what happened, right? So Sarah did that. The handmaiden had her son, and so typically that would have been his firstborn child, right? But around the year, God came to Sarah in a dream and told her that she was going to get pregnant, and because of her faith unbelieving, she didn't believe him. He took her voice. She couldn't talk no more. She couldn't say nothing. No, nobody else like it. Couldn't say absolutely nothing, right? Anyway, he blessed her with her child. She had her baby. The child, the lady that hold up, hey sister friend, stop. I to say hi and hope you and the family are healthy. So sorry, you know what? No, you good. Hey, say how you doing? Glad to see you. How you doing? No, no, no. I agree that that in the Bible, the thinly thread Bible quote, I see it as a band for entertainment purposes. But if you found it with the Holy Spirit, you know. That's true too. I agree on that too. Nancy. People need to stop saying Sarah might go to jail. She is not. No, she's not gonna go to jail. Not if she don't do nothing stupid. Because let's kill. Shayla start going doing something stupid, and man, I've been there. Wife or not, you will go to jail. Mistress or not, you will go to jail. So let's keep it real. She do something that she ain't supposed to do. Her behind is going down. It's going down. Hey, okay. Hold on. Uh, okay. Well, the so the ending of that story is for those that know, the handmaid had a child, and then they cast her away. But God said He was going to take care of her because that was still His family, and that He will bless the nations up under her child because that is still their family. Just because love you, girl, you're soaring up in a way. Oh, thank you. I'm so proud of you. Oh, thank you so much. You know, you was there with me from the beginning, okay, Miss Sally. But thank you so much. Hey Angela, I was talking about you earlier in the live, but she had this Angela. She on here now. This is the one I was talking about earlier. My blessing in disguise. Good evening, SkitLanta. Oh, y'all, I done seen a lot of people come through this live. Y'all please hit that like button because that's what makes these lives go through to the people as more likes that I get, the more people that'll come to the lives and they'll come. So y'all just hit them like buttons for me. You can just if you don't you can just like scroll up a little bit before going out and you can hit the like. Or if you're on a computer, just hit the little X to get out of the chat. Click the like and then come back in. But please, y'all, hit that like button. But yeah, so don't. So people that are sitting there saying that, some people say Shayla might be pregnant again. I even say Shayla might be pregnant again because the way she looked. And Kai, y'all, I don't know if y'all realize this, but Kai is her real son. That's her son in real life. And she looked like she's pregnant again because when they was inside that kitchen, it looked like she had a bulge. And normally Shayla's stomach looked fat, unless she was just bloated. But homegirl looked like she was pregnant for real life yet again. Although somebody came on my thing and was like, "Oh, she gonna be a surrogate mom," and I was like, "Where you heard that from?" Because I didn't even hear her say that on her own live that she was gonna be a surrogate mom. But when she was talking about how people was couldn't separate her personally from her character, so they were giving her threats and stuff like that and being mean to her when they seen her in public. She was like, "That is not how I am in real life. I just play. That is my name on the show because that is her name because they all use their real name. Except for Mama AJ, she was just called Mama AJ. Bless her soul. But they all use their real names, and she said people like her character in person, and that's not who she is. That's just a person she plays. Thank you so much, man. Y'all like 20 people in here. Listen, and I'm like, right, Sally. Thank you. Hold on, y'all, because I keep smelling like something, like my daughter's cooking something. I hope she didn't leave something. No, Misha, Misha, you cooking? Is it all? Because it still smells like it's cooking in the room. Okay. What did you cook? Oh no, I wasn't going crazy. I'm like, it smelled like it's cooking, and okay, she said she had cooked some, but she had turned it off. Um, hello. Thanks, right. Yeah, but she looked like it. But she was saying that a lot of people can't separate her from that character. Nothing like that character, even though the character is who is her name. The character has her real name, but that's not her. And so I think a lot of people get so up in this thing and they take it so personal that they're being blinded a little bit on top of the fact that people are feeding these negative lies. Like if you have a child from side, y'all are family, okay, point blank period. So the my two kids, and I shared a story about him. I had to record that offline because y'all, that part of my life is still hit me to this day because he just could not forgive himself. Y'all could not forgive himself. um Even though he wanted to, he couldn't. And ultimately, it's the reason why he's not here today with us. He's no longer. He passed away. Um, he couldn't. Some people cannot heal from their past, and I don't want to cry about that because it's only been a couple of years that he hasn't been here, and my kids lost their father. And it's all because he forgive himself for not being a good father. That's all it was. Um, but man, some people cannot get through that. I feel that I am a family with my ex. Regardless if you feel like you are or not, you're still a family. The moment you have a child with somebody, they are a part of you and you are a part of them. You cannot snatch that person out of your life. You can't. And because of that negative thinking, people treat people so differently and they treat them like they're not a part of their family. And that's a lie. In my family, regardless of who or my only two kids, dad who passed away, we were together. I was with him when I was 18. I had my daughter by the time I was 19. We were together. He cheated. Um, he had another girl pregnant who I know her name. I'm just not gonna say here, but he had another girl pregnant who I love to death. Like she like my son. Like don't play with her. Don't play with her. Not around me because we'll have a problem with you. Anyway, he had a baby with her, and we were still. Like I found out, you love somebody or whatever. Mess around. Got pregnant with my second daughter, and I have his first and his third kid. But after that, because he just wasn't willing to change, I ended up leaving where I ended up meeting my husband. And but until he came to and he apologized for everything he did. Hey, AS, how you doing? I'm doing good. Yeah, but does it matter? You're divorced, Des. I mean, you can feel the way you want to feel, but that's still your family. You still take care of your family. It's just not the child. And when you see them like they're just, oh, that's my child, she's yours, she's mine, there's going to always be a division. It's always going to be a division. It's always going to be a negative intellection when it comes to your unit. Because anytime you take one and one plus one does not equal two. One plus one equal three because you're baby in the middle. And so it no longer is about you. It's no longer about her, but it's what y'all are going to do for y'all family. So your ex still your family. And regardless if you're going to be with your ex or you're going to be with the next person, you're going to have to adapt the child and the mother because the child doesn't come by themselves. You got to co-parent with the mother. So they're still your family. Anytime you sit up here and you say they're not your family, I'm telling you, you're lying from the pits of hell. That is your family. You can say it's not, but it is your family. And you have to take care of your family. Hey, I'm good, everyone. That's good. You have to take care of your family. That's why you can say whatever you want to, but they're still your family. And the reason being is because your kids are going to be connected to that child and how or whatever. Y'all still gonna have blood running through y'all. Anytime you enter, it's called the bloodlines. Okay, so anytime bloodlines are connected, that's a family. Regardless if you did it outside of your marriage. Well, here's the big thing: you shouldn't even doing it outside of your marriage to begin with to even have an outside baby. That's the first problem. If you made that mistake and you did that, then that's still your family. You don't cast that family to the side and say to hell with them. You don't do that. And say, well, I take care of my child, but I'm not worried about the mother. Well, the child is connected to them. And so whatever the mother's going through, the child is going through too. So when you say you want to do it to your child's mother or your child's father, you're also doing it to the child. That's why in the video, the only one that is hurt is the child. And until you can see it for your child, then you're always going to have a problem. There's going to be an underlying issue. There's always going to be some type of division and problem that can creep up within your family unit. Now, you didn't want to make this person your family. What you shouldn't have did was had a baby by them. Because the moment you had a baby by them, what? They're your family. In our family, you don't have to love, you don't even have to be around, but they're still your family. Don't want to be complicated, but he and I don't have the same blood. He's my children's father. He's not my blood. And so about your child, is your child not your blood? Can you take, I'm assuming you are female. So can you take your baby's father blood out your child and your child still exists? If you can do that, then we can say he's not your family. But if you can't do that, which I know you can't, he's still your family. And until you can see that, until you can see that. I'm just being real with you. No matter how it happened, even if I was created by, let's say, the R word, that they're still family. They're still, you got to treat them like they is, but they're still your family. It's still your blood, honey. It is what it is. Um, you can't separate the two. So all these people putting this in your head about they not family, that's not your family, the only family that is the child. Well, that goes to show your ignorance. But until you get it right and be able to fix that, okay, it is what it is. And back to the story with my kid's father. He had 12 kids. I only had 2 kids from this guy. But every single child he has, I look at it as mine. They look at me as their family. I'm not their mom. I'm not their auntie. But guess what? They treat me like if I was their mom. They treat me like if I was their aunt. They treat me like I was their family. And guess what? I treat them the same way. And if anybody come after any one of them, and I ain't got a drop of blood up in them, you're gonna have to deal with me. All right. And that's just how it is. Because that is my family. That is my family that is connected through that man. All right. He is their father, and every child that comes up under him is his, and they're going to connect it to my kids. All right. And my kids are my family, and he is my family because I laid down with him and I had a child. All right. No, the father is not the family. Like I said, you can feel however you want, but until you get rid of this negative indication of yours about a father is not the family, then that's crazy. If you're a woman and you're sitting here saying that father of your child is not their family, your family, then it's going to always make you have a negative attitude towards them because you're always going to look at them as not your family. That's just that. Well, no, I mean we can agree to disagree, but it still ain't gonna change the fact. It still ain't gonna change the fact. But feel how you want. You can feel how you want. Because guess what? If something happened to that child and you need some blood from that man, one of his kids that ain't yours, guess to save your child, guess what? You're gonna quickly be hollering about, oh, you my family and you need to save your child. Guess what? Do that because you don't want your child to die. But because you want to save your child, now they family. But when you ain't need for nothing from that person, you ain't got nothing to do with them. That's your ignorance, and I'm just being real. That's your ignorance. You're still family, and regardless of however you feel about the other person. The best thing to do, so you don't have to worry about this, is just not have. If you don't want somebody to be your family, just don't have kids with them. That's plain and simple. If the moment you have kids with them, honey, it takes two. It takes two people to raise a child. It really does. A lot of people only raise them by I got kids by myself, okay? But it still takes two, and they will lack something without the other parent, right? And that is y'all's family unit. It might not be the traditional family unit, but it's still your family. Hold on, let me go back and read some of these because I don't want anybody to think I'm missing. No, the father is not the family. Well, you're wrong. I keep telling you, you're wrong. The new Rapunzel family, ask a doctor. And ask a doctor, and the doctor gonna tell you, yes, y'all family because y'all connected to the child. I will agree because, well, let's say ask the doctor. On the paper, doesn't it say biological mother, biological father? Yeah, that's called a family. Okay. Will I agree to agree? We can. Um, that sounds crazy. What sounds crazy, Jackson? A child from an unarmed parent. The parent are not related. The child from an unmarried parent. The child is not related. Oh, let me read this again. A child from an unmarried parent. I'm assuming to say unmarried and you spelled it wrong. Unmarried parents. The parents are not related. Not that the parents are related. You don't have to be related to be family. You ain't related to your wife. That's your family, right? Are you related to the one you're married to? Now, like, that's where ignorance come in at. That's where people trying to prove a point and it don't even first make any sense. So if you're gonna say your wife is your family, but your child mother isn't your family because you're not related to your child's mother, that makes them not family. You ain't related to your wife either. I mean, so that's just ignorance. But the moment y'all bonded together, now you and your wife bonded by certificate on a piece of paper where y'all sign y'all name in before the eyes of God, whether He approve you or not. And you and your baby mama, if that's what you want to call her, or your baby father, if that's what you want to call her, united through a child, and that is your family. So get that at your head that y'all are not a family. Ask a lawyer. I will ask a lawyer, and a lawyer will tell you it's your family. Matter of fact, let me tell you how a lawyer gonna tell you. A lawyer gonna tell you when you go up in that court, when you child support and all that other stuff. You know what they want to know? They want to only know who is your children, where that is concerned. Who is your children? The children, because that's who we're focusing on between the two of you. And so if they're only focusing on those two, but y'all, when y'all go through y'all thing, then guess what? That's because that's your family. That's what a lawyer is gonna tell you. Um, I don't believe that is right or wrong answer to that. It is a right or wrong because it is family. We could say it's not family. You could say, let's put it like this. Say this right here is a made up book. God, I'm not saying that. Okay, I'm just going for an example. We could say that this is a made up book and none of this is true, right? We could say that, right? Because it is a book, right? And because people may not believe it, that be true to them, right? But it is the truth. And it's not a made up book. It's real. So we can try to flip everything we want to, but it is what it is. I don't believe there's a right or wrong. And so that's what I'm trying to make a point is people can say this Bible is either right or it's wrong. It's not right or wrong. It just what it is. But it is because this is right. Ain't nothing wrong about this. It's right. What I will say is this might not be the full Bible because they don't pull some stuff up out of here. But it's still right. Okay? It's still right. It's not wrong. All right. It all depends on the circumstance as well as the maturity and the spirituality of both parents. That's why I said that's what okay. So what we should is then when you say it's not your family, that's just your choice to say it's not your family. It's not technically not your family. It's just my choice to say that they're not. That should say. You shouldn't say it's not your family. What you should say is I just decide not to accept that person as my family. Just like a parent that walk out on a child that fathered a child, right? But didn't care of them. Just like a mother that carried a child for 9 months, but don't take care of them. They to them, that's their children, but that's not their family because they didn't care enough to stick around. So that was a choice that they made. Um, I have much love for him because he is the father of my child. Okay, but see, because you just said it, because he is the father of your child, that is in your family. You say, I got love for him because he's my child's father. Well, is that part of the love that you have for him that unite him with your child? So you could say you don't accept him as your family, but in reality, he's family. Because if you need that man to help you do something that is going to save your child, he automatically gonna be your family, and you're gonna hold up to that man's head if he don't do it. Now, what if he say, "Well, I'm not gonna do it because you consider me not your family"? Then what you gonna say? Well, what you mean you're not gonna do it? What you mean? Aren't y'all gonna die if you don't do this? You a sorry piece of nah? He ain't no sorry piece of nothing because he wasn't your family. He just like getting Joe Blow off the street. You gotta look at this thing both sides. You can't look at it for what you want to believe. Okay? Um, Feelings are different from different street definition. That's why I keep saying, y'all, you could choose to say whatever you want, but the fact is, they're still your family. I think we're something different. I'm saying my ex-husband is not my family. Okay, so let me ask you this. Do your ex-husband, you have kids with your ex-husband is? Because then if kids with your ex-husband, then no, we're saying the same thing. They're still your family. Respect your father. Oh God, y'all. Omar, welcome to the chat. Omar is yeah, he's a little bit different. But yes, respect your father, Omar. Because sometimes conversation can get kind of crazy. But he is so cool. Next of kin equals family. Right. Next of kin does equal family. All of it is equal family. Next of kin. That's family. You might not accept them as family, but they're family. That's because what you accept. You might not accept Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior. Guess what? He's still your Lord and Savior. You just didn't accept him. So when you leave there, you're gonna go to hell. And that's just the real of it. And hell's gonna be cast into the lake of fire. But that was your choice and it was your Lord and Savior. You just didn't choose him. And I'm just being real with you. I told y'all I'm real blunt. Sometimes I try not to be as blunt, but I am. That's just me. Been there, done that. What do you mean there, done that? I'm lost. Legally not family. What do you mean legally not family? We're talking about bloodline, 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 bloodline. When the law goes looking for your next and that's him. Right, exactly. Angela, you hit it dead on the nail. These people, and it's because so many people do stuff like this because of their own hurt. And realistically, they know what you're saying is right. They know what you're saying. Right. They're just looking for technicalities to say otherwise because of how they feel. That's all it is. And I'm having these conversations with y'all, but I know what's going on. I know what it is. It's just for each person because of how it's because of whatever happened in that relationship between y'all as to why you feel the way you do. And that is your right. I'm saying you're not right for doing that. All I'm saying is you still ain't gonna change the fact that's your family. Um, you're right. Love the child. Correct. AS. People got to start. That's what I was trying to say in the video. Y'all got to put all this stuff to the side when it comes to your kid. You have a kid, it ain't about you no more. It really ain't. Like you have a kid, everything should be focused on your child. And if you're leading with your feelings, then you're wrong. So, mom, if you're leading with your feelings, you're not letting the father see his child, you're wrong. And fathers, if they're not doing it, I'm telling you, as a woman who raised her kids by themselves, take her behind the court and exercise your right. You don't have any rights because you exercise them not. You're scared to go in there because you're trying to run away from child support. I tell you, child support will never be more, you will never pay more in child support than you do with a child inside your home. So stop being scared of child support. Please stop being scared. Exercise your right. And by the way, child support and visitation has absolutely to do with nothing. They're not the same thing. You can have your visitation without paying a penny. I'm just being real with you. A person cannot keep their kids away from you. That's an absolute lie. It can't happen. Take they behind the court. That's why when my ex tried to tell my kids, but see, here's where he messed up. Everything we ever said was on email, so now my kids got it if they want to see it. I ain't telling them this mess while they was growing up because that's not for a kid to know. But if they wanted to see it, everything we had as far as conversations is over email. And I've always my doors open. I've always said, come. I went to police stations waiting for you, but he didn't want me to do it because he wanted to have control. But no, I'm not putting my kids in those situations. So regardless of what they tell y'all, that's why I always told him, if I'm what you're saying to everybody else is true, take me to court. I want you to take me to court so we can go to court and they can clearly see you're lying because I got all the evidence to show otherwise. Take Matter of fact, come over here with the cops right now and come and get the kids. Please do that. Never happened because he don't want the kids. Okay, that's just something people say to make the other person look bad. But if you want to get your kids, if the women do not give you your child and let you spend time with your child, take her behind the court. Just like she will take you to court if you're not financially taking care of your child. Take her behind, support, and spend time with your kids. That is the child's right to know who their mother and their father is. That is a child's right to be raised by two parents and not by selfish parents because of their own feelings. So you will hear this come out of my mouth as a single mother raised five kids. Okay, I'm all about family. People don't have rights because they don't know they have rights. They don't know what to do. If you don't know what to do, go seek legal counsel in your state. Every state have what they call legal aid. Figure out what your rights is. Exercise your right for your child. Do not let child support and money stop you from bonding with your kids. And ladies, stop doing this. If a man wants to spend time with his children, let him spend time with his children. And fellas, stop lying on these ladies that you want you to spend with their kids because guess what? They want breaks. They want a break from their children. Okay, they want them to go spend time with their daddy so they can kind of get a break to do other things. And this is where I say about Shay. That's why I said I can agree with what she did as far as leaving him with the child because that's your child, sir. She does need time by herself. She shouldn't be a 24/7 mom just because you want to get back with your wife. You know, you was over here telling her you loved her a few minutes ago, right? So spend time with your kid. That's how I feel on that situation. I am an equal rights person. I am a person that right is right and wrong is wrong. That is how it is with me. Anybody you know will tell you if you don't want her to tell the truth, you better stay away from her. Hey, just it is what it is. She is who she is. Okay. I don't believe in it. But he cannot do anything for me if I needed something. My children. hold on. But he cannot do anything for me. If I needed something, my children, yes. But because they're his blood, I'm not his blood. But because of that child, Miss Dez, I will say this again, and you can believe what you want. Y'all are still family. Um, hey Angela, time no see. Hey AS, love Shayla and Anthony, baby Kai. Yeah, baby Kai is adorable. You hear me? And Anthony need to be ashamed of his not being there for his child, being that he went through that. Here's the thing. This is where we have to stop doing that to our kids, especially when you yourself went through that. When you experience your father being a part of your life, right? You should never want that on your kid ever, because you know how you was as a child not having your father in their life. But times, and I hate to say this, sometimes there's a different side. Sometimes it's because the mother just didn't want to let the child go there because of their feelings that they had. But women, if you're gonna lay down and be a mother, it's time for you to be a woman for your child and allow your child to be around their father. If you ain't think he was safe, you shouldn't have been laying down with him producing a kid. And I'm just being real. If you feel like that, then get visitation. Get supervised visitations, so that way they can have it court ordered, so that he won't do nothing to your kids. Because I understand that too. Because I had that situation where my mistress, when I said sometimes the side piece win, because he did go off with the sides. Okay, and this woman was trying to take my kids. Okay, my high head was like, you bring your behind around the house you want to, you're gonna get dragged all up and down the street. But on the second note, after I sat there and I thought about it, I'm like, this girl can't do nothing, because what's she gonna do? She can't take my kids unless she finna off me or something. But then you finna have a fight on your hands, sis. But so it ain't gonna be that. So you have to really get out your feelings. But the truth is, once her whole thing was she just didn't want him back with me, because we had been married. This was our second marriage. Been married twice, so I guess she felt like eventually he probably tried to come back. So she was just trying to create a wedge between the two of us, so that never happened. That woman and my kids, she had 4 kids of her own. She didn't want my kids around. So when she got it to the point where he wasn't worried about the kids no more, they did what they did. She had the life she wanted, but she got the life she wanted. She won. You know what she won? She won con cheating. She won no trust. She won headaches every night. She won sleepless nights. She won everything that I went through. She got it. Congratulations, sis, you won. But guess what I won? Peace. Regardless of how I had to do what I had to do, I won peace. And in the end, everything he didn't do, the courts awarded to me. So hey, it's all good. So I still won. On that note, does the bomb, you will have to agree to disagree on this topic. And right, right, Angela. It is easy to love the children. My 110-year-old grandfather said to me, "Why can't we all just get along?" Right. Why can't, man, that is the $1 million question. Why can't we all just get along? Really. Do what is best for the child. And if people can live by that, I think we'll be so better off. If people can just look at it, if you were the child, what you would, if this was happening to you. If I tend to do that a lot, I tend to put myself in other people's shoes. So if you put yourself in that child's shoes, what do you want as a kid? I can guarantee you one thing: the child ain't gonna remember no money. They're not gonna remember that. They'll vaguely remember like material stuff, but stuff that they're going to remember is all the memories that they had with whoever they love. That's all they're gonna remember. They're gonna remember running in their daddy's arms and mama's arms and getting loves and kisses. They're gonna remember that when their mama and their daddy was together, they seemed like the best of friends. They're gonna remember all that. Or they're gonna remember that every time my mom and my daddy got together, there was complete hell up in my face. They was always yelling and arguing. They're gonna remember that my mama was yelling outside the door at my daddy because he wasn't doing that. They're gonna remember all that negative stuff. And then you're gonna program that mess inside your kid head, and they're gonna go do the same thing to their family. Unless you say enough is enough, let me hear myself, let me see what I am doing wrong, let me try to do the right thing, or shelter your kids from some of it. And when they get older, they can see it for themselves. And then whatever they was affected with, when your kid bring that to you, say, okay, let me figure out how to fix this, and move right from that point on. It should always be about your kids, regardless if your kids are one day or 100 years old. It should always be about your kid. And you should look at them like that. And I think if people did that, they would make better choices. Or when you're looking at somebody else, if you can, just for a brief second, I think if you put yourself in their shoes, you will look at it like, what if this was me? I wouldn't want that to happen to me. This is what I want to happen to me. And I do that a lot. I look at people and I be like, well, what if I'm in that situation? What would I? And I had to do that to some people I couldn't even understand. I really did get to a point where I had to do that. And then when I looked at stuff like that and myself for the full picture, and I'm like, well, God darn, if this was me, I probably would have been doing the goddamn same thing. Maybe. Okay, now let me look at it. Let me look at it from their point of view, and maybe things will come out. The end result will come out differently. Shayla actions was selfish, and what she did was selfish. But both she and Anthony need to establish boundaries and become better parents by putting their interests aside. Amen, Miss Ingray. Absolutely. Shayla not selfish. Anthony is. No, Shayla's. I can't agree with you on that, Clarence. Uh, Shayla is very selfish because if she wasn't selfish, she wouldn't have messed with a married man to begin with. So that's the flip side to it. Although I am saying, why is everybody coming down on her because they're not coming down on Anthony? But she is selfish because if she wasn't, she wouldn't mess with her man's man. So you got to look at it all the way around. It's not cutting dry. Shayla was selfish. I will give Shayla this though. Shayla tried to talk to Amber originally. Shayla tried to tell Amber, don't do this to Anthony because he's a good man. This was before Shayla got all delusional in her head. She was trying to talk Amber out of cheating with Wayne. But Amber kept telling her, you don't understand. I know you don't understand what I'm going through. I just really love this man. And she just wanted to. Okay. So from that, Shayla developed a delusion because she felt bad because her friend was treating Anthony wrong. And at that time, Anthony was a good man. He was. But because of everything that had untranspired and because of stuff from his past we hadn't yet learned. Okay. That's why I said at that point, I didn't know Anthony was still in college. When he was in college, he was, H hopping from one person to the next, and he was just leaving a trail of a broken heart because we didn't know that at the time. But the Anthony that we knew, he seemed like a decent man. But little did we know he was the creep that he is right now. I just am. Do not turn your child against other. Right. No matter how. Thank you. Do not do that. And here's the thing. I've done that. I did that. I have done that. Where when my kids were younger, I used to get mad at their dad, and I used to say stuff about the dad or whatever. I did that. It took um now she wasn't even really a close friend of mine either. But it took her to see me do that, and she was like, "Tamara, what are you doing?" And I was like, "What do you mean?" And she was like, "Your kid's right here, and you're saying all this stuff. Your kids are listening to this. You shouldn't be saying that." And I was just so mad that I was like, "Who are you to talk?" Because I had done heard her say some stuff too. But when she said it, she said, "But you ain't never hear me say none of this stuff around my son. You ain't never hear me. You said it to you, but you ain't never hear me say it with my kid." I had to really look at myself and say, "Oh my God, what am I doing?" And thank God that happened at a young age for my children. My children, now my oldest, she probably can still remember me saying I said some stuff that I should not have said about her dad. And that partly what really questioned me because at that time I was still hurt from how he treated me. And so I did that to him. And like I said, I used to be I still am. I can't even say I still am hard when it comes to a man because I just believe like a man there's a certain standard when it comes to a man, and a man needs to be a man if he's going to be the head of the household. I'm real hard on a man. I'm not an easy person when it comes to men. If you're not gonna do this, then what's the point? I can do bad by myself. That's still kind of my thing, but I'm a little bit more understanding when things get hard. But when my that friend of mine brought that to my attention, when she said that, that made me really look at myself as to what was I doing to my own kids by saying this stuff. So when he finally came to me and he apologized, really was almost like all the stuff I had done said, like it really didn't matter no more. Like, man, I was wrong for doing this. And I didn't think about what he was going through as trying to heal from his hurt from his dad. I never really put that into perspective until she brought to my attention that what I was doing was wrong. And I really started looking at myself. And then when he came and said he was simply sorry for what he had did, he was sorry that I was a good person. He should have never did me like that. He should have always been there for his kids. He's struggling with it, and he just couldn't get. He just was trying to figure it out. And it just like what Anthony said, it felt like a weight was lifted off his shoulder. It was like because I thought I never thought he saw me as that person that he was describing. And it wasn't because he was trying to get with me, because me and him had been stopped messing with each other. He was just being honest because he was just saying he finally looked at himself for what he was doing. And so he had to come back and apologize for what he had did me. All right. And when he did that, it was like our whole dynamic of our relationship changed. It didn't happen overnight because I still kind of had ill feelings, but I kept catching myself say, girl, just let it go. The boy told you he was trying. Look at it from his point of view, right? And then over time, that relationship developed into a brother and sister friendship. A lot of people thought I was his actual brother, and he was my actual brother until we got to talking. And they heard our kids say, "Mom and Dad, how that's your mama and your daddy, and they acting like this." I'm like, nah, he's my kid's father. He's not my brother. And I'm calling his sister my sister, so it get kind of confusing. If you didn't know what was going on, you would have thought that this really I was part of their family, but I wasn't. He was just my kid's father. I wasn't their brother or sister. I was his child's mother, and we were family. But no, Angela, thank you for reminding those with children what is important to raise our children. Absolutely, learn as they grow. You know what, Angela? I'm still learning from my now. Sometimes, like I tell you, it amazes me sometimes with y'all. Sometimes I think they don't be listening and learning, but man, those my girls and my sons, them some smart, them some smart children that I had. And you have to learn from them. Like you can't be the parent and say that you think that you know everything. No, you don't. Like you gotta learn from everybody. And if we listen to what our children are saying, even little kids, like I got grandkids now, and sometimes my grandkids when I watch my two grandkids when their parents had went on their honeymoon, they anniversary, not honeymoon, it was their anniversary one time. I was just pleased by some of the stuff that I was taking in from them look from the little ones. And I showed y'all my grandson when he was getting his first haircut on my short. Um, but you're never told to learn, and no one's really too young not to teach you something if you're willing to look at what they're saying. Hello, my sexy darling, Kenneth. Hi, Kenneth. Um, Shayla did try to talk Amber out of her and Wayne. Right, she did. And a lot of people, I don't know what it is about these skits. It's like they see something, it's almost like they forget what had happened in the past and only focus on what's happening right now. And then they just be going in on people for the right now. It's like they don't think about what led up to this. They're just focusing on what happened and wrong. But if you look at what led up to it, maybe it'll make a little bit more sense. Or either they're jumping in to the storyline right where it's at and they don't know the full picture. So that's why sometimes, like on some of, if you go back on some videos, I did like how it all began between them. I do flashbacks. Like the other day I did where I was trying to explain where I thought maybe Amber was up to something, so I was putting in old clips to try to explain myself. Man, I had people coming in the comments saying, that's old. I wish SkitLanta would have said something. I did say something. I had it in the description and I had it in the commentary. If you would have listened to the commentary, I did say this was my thoughts, but yet you got people coming at you. And I'm looking at all that too. I look at it because I want to see it from their point of view, before I say something. But I want to address it because if that person's thinking it, it's probably other people that's thinking it as well. But it just amazes me. It's like people focus on here and now and they don't focus what led up to the here and now. Okay? They only focus on what they're seeing, right? And then the crazy part is a lot of them don't even try to find out. That whatever somebody tell them is go. Yeah. Anthony needs to step up and be a better father. Yes, he does. Um, and sadly, Shayla mama trained her to be girl. Angelina, Angelina ain't no joke. You hear me? Rebecca ain't no joke. She is a bitter woman that is scorned. But like I said earlier, I really do think it's because of everything that she went through as to why she is the way she is today. I don't think she was born evil. I think she became evil because of her circumstances, and we have to be mindful of that because that same thing that happened to her could happen to each and every last one of us. We could become just like that from circumstances in our life if we allow that to happen to us. Shayla mom need God too, not Trump by. I hate as you have a pretzel. Uh, you have a pretzel. My snack today, pretzel. What is okay, y'all? I'm not really hip with all this. Are y'all talking to me? What does that mean? You have a pretzel. Fill me in so I can be schooled. So my kids be like, "Oh, she thinks she in. She thinks she done learn something." But does that mean anything, or are y'all just being funny with each other? Interesting topic today. Yes, that is great. You did the flashback skit. I love it. Well, Angela, some people did. Some people came at me for doing that. But that was only because they didn't either read the description or they didn't watch it to the end. And I said to them, I'm like, clearly you didn't watch it because I kind of explained all this stuff. But some people are just mean spirited. I'm starting to see that. Like I had one person, I ain't never seen this person before in my life on there. And like I said, I'll read every comment. I can't read it and write back. I'll at least leave a heart or whatever. If I ain't got to it, it's because I haven't seen it yet. But when I do, because I constantly going through the comment section, I never seen this person. They don't have no history of comments, but came on and said, "You're a hypocrite." What am I a hypocrite of? Like, are you serious? You're a hypocrite because she was telling me because I was about to go live yesterday. She wrote it yesterday. You're a hypocrite. Go live so we can see. Are you just like Amber? And I'm like, who are you? And what are you talking about? And literally before she had did that, I was getting ready to go live. Or she did it, kind of pissed me off, and I was in the wrong mindset. So I was like, I'm not going live because I can go live right now. I'm gonna come at somebody the wrong way because it's this person right here. I'm about to cuss her out. So I just simply just deleted her and blocked her from my channel. I like doing that because I like to allow people to give their opinion and try to learn from people. Even if I don't agree with you, I still like to learn from you because something you might say might be just something I never heard of before, and I want to hear it. I love hearing everybody's opinion. So when I respond back to you, although I'm giving you my opinion, I appreciate what you said as well, regardless if I agree with it or not. Um, so it kind of gets me a little bit that some people will come at me and I ain't never talked to you before. Like you don't even first know me and really you don't understand what I'm saying. So why are you saying this? And that's partially me to get out of my own feelings. And that's why I had to step back yesterday when this girl had said this. But baby, I was like about to not block her. Let her come on this live. Do whatever she do. And y'all probably wouldn't have liked the Tamara that I could be sometimes. And some of y'all done seen me on here when somebody don't piss me off and I go in on them. But I was like, nah, I can't be doing that. Like I told y'all, I'm not all the way there yet. Like I'm still heal. I'm still. That's not. I don't know if you could consider that healing or God working with me, or maybe it's a little bit of both. But the high head part of me is still there. It's just not as bad as it was, and I'm willing to admit that. So things do piss me off with people, especially when I am really open and sensitive to people's feelings. But when you just come in, chick, you didn't even first know me, and I was really getting ready to go live and cuss her out. But then I guess the God in me said, "Girl, don't even first do that because it ain't first fit." And I didn't do it, and I was just like, I got caught up in something else, y'all. I don't know. And then I guess I had to look at it a different way. I had to look at it saying to myself, like, maybe she think I'm fake because maybe she haven't ran into people who are really real people and open about themselves. So maybe to her, I might seem fake because everybody else in her life could be, or she keep running into fake people. So she's assuming I'm just saying this stuff just to be saying this stuff, or she could just be an evil person and just trying to turn people against me on my platform. I don't know. But I end up seeing something. It used to be authentic talk. But I think he changed his name to Revenue something. And I watch quite often, by the way. And it was funny because right before this lady did this, he made a video about trolls and how you shouldn't always let trolls be on your thing because of how they can affect your channel. I was like, man, he made a valid point. And less than an hour later, I get this girl just going at me on my under my thing, and I was like, See how God works. He had already prepared me that this was getting ready to happen. The old me would have jumped on here and said, "Okay, baby, come on here, let's go." We finna get cussed out. But because I had seen his video, I took it differently when I saw that. So that's why I said you can learn from anybody, even people you don't agree. Because of his video, it allowed me to handle her a different way. Just block her. I just blocked and carried on. Um, Amber and Shayla's alike. Amber is mature through many experiences. Facts, Taylor, they are. I said that too, Miss Taylor, and boy, I got lynched for saying that they got the same characteristics. They do. They're the same person. Amber and Shayla are the same. One got money and really one don't have nothing, but their characteristics are the same. That's why they like them so much because they just alike. Shayla doesn't want to work, right? Amber's businessman, correct. Shayla has no identity unless she has a man. And that's because Angelina has programmed her daughter to think that. She has programmed Shayla to think that, and I really feel it's because of her situation. That's why I feel Zash is not her child. I do not think Zash is Angelina's daughter. I think Zash is a daughter from an affair Brody had, and somehow he got custody of her, and Angela was forced to raise his child, and that's why she has such animosity towards Ash versus how she feel about or Shayla. Or this other thought process I had, but I don't really see that based off of what she's doing. But I looked at it from the side of maybe Zachary is her child from Brody that she meant because he's always cheating on her, and Shayla might be Brody's child, but not Angela's. And so she's putting all this stuff in Shayla's head to make her do that because Shayla's a side piece, and it was all these side pieces coming at her husband. So she gonna get her side piece, his side piece child, and ruin her life forever. But she's not coming off like that. She come off like she really do love Shayla, just in a twisted way. So I'm thinking the other way around, but it could be the way I just said it. Shayla has no identity. Let me explain why I say that they are like they used to hang out together, could mimic each other's behavior. They were best friends, right? And that's kind of what I was saying as far as the same characteristics. So when I say they're the same person but in a different body, they think the same. They embody each other, exactly what you said. But I didn't use the word mimics, but they have the same characteristics at each other, which and even with Brittany the same way. Brittany is about she want a man with all this money, and if you don't have a certain, she don't want you. Same thing with Amber. That's why she was so in love with Wayne. She wasn't in love with Wayne because of Wayne just treated her like this wonderful woman, and he put her on a pedestal. She loved Wayne because Wayne had all his money, and she attracted herself to that and the lifestyle that he could provide for her. But the problem with that was Wayne wasn't ready to commit to anybody. Wayne, I don't know if y'all know his story, but he was actually married, and he said he wasn't gonna do it again. And that's kind of the position he holds with the skits. Now, changed because I saw something in when he was dating that one girl where they was talking about he was engaged to her, but then a couple of weeks later they was talking about they broke up. So I'm like, it's almost like art depicting life. But Shayla, that Shayla, just like that, got there and Amber, they one and the same child. They act the same. Amber is a builder and wants to build a family. That's what she do want a family. When you speak of now, I'm referring to their beginnings. They still hold the same morals as they did at the start. I'm not talking about money. I'm referring to their beginnings. They still hold the same morals, but morals speaks on their character. I'm not necessarily speaking about money either. I'm talking about their character and what they will allow. Shayla cheated, but Amber allowed her cousin's wife to cheat on him and never say anything. Ernestine was cheating on Jay, and Amber knew all about it and said absolutely nothing, and helped it along the way by putting her boyfriend up in one of her rental properties. And it wasn't until she was convicted because her husband cheated on her that she decided to let him out the house. But prior to that happening, he was living up in the house. So that's what I'm saying about them. They share the same characteristics. So one ain't no better than the other. Um, Amber encouraged everyone in her circle to attend church. Shayla went along with it so she could be near of course, of course. But let's look at when Amber went to church though. When Amber go to church. Amber went to church after she had lost her child and she got David. So she went to the church because she was feeling sorrowful about her loss of her child. And then he blessed her with the child. But the moment the child was taken from her, Amber stopped going to the church. She ain't been back yet. And Amber is using God as when something happened to me, I'm gonna be there for you. That's not a virtuous woman, and that's not how you do God. You don't live by him sometimes and put him down when you don't. You only pick him back up when you're going through your troubles. You don't do that. You don't do that. And that's what Amber's doing. Even now, that's exactly what she's doing. Shayla and Amber both came from different hustles on the street. However, Shayla operates in a vastly different way compared to Amber. Yeah, that's true. That's because you gotta once again you gotta look at who's Shayla mama. Okay, let's look at this. Amber mom died, and she died when she was young because the sister, remember the sister dated they mama's boyfriend while she was still living. Okay, so we know morals don't really run strong in that family. They got some issues, seriously. So you can kind of even see why Amber do some of the things that she does. We didn't really get the backstory with her mom, but we just got back, we got back with the sister. Mama Brenda, who is their mother's sister, is really the Christian in the family. So a lot of stuff that Amber be quoting and doing is what Mama Brenda told her. It's not she herself got it in her. It's because Mama Brenda is the one who's saying it to her. So that's not a virtuous woman either. A virtuous woman is Mama Brenda. Mama Brenda is the virtuous woman, right? Not Shayla. Shayla's mimicking Mama Brenda whenever she needs Mama Brenda's wisdom and guidance. So she seems like her, but she's really not. Mama Brenda is the virtuous woman in the family. And then when it comes to Shayla, she don't have it. Her mama bitter. Her mama teaching her all the wrong things. But then you got to look at, well, then where's the split with Zash? Why is Zash different and don't listen to her mom? Because Zash is like the black sheep of the family. She know her mama wrong, and she's going to say something to her mom versus Shay, who's just gonna feed into mommy dearest, just like she did when she was talking to Anthony behind their door. Angelina was dead wrong for telling her daughter that, and Shayla was stupid for listening to her mama. What she should have told her mama was, "Mama, look, this is thank you for helping me or whatever, but I'm not gonna do him like that. Come on in and let him say whatever so you go get your child and check on your child because you let your child stay outside the door." And that's on Shayla. That's on Shayla. That's why I kind of split because I don't agree with how she did it, but I do agree that Anthony spent his kid. Angie and I was talking when I wrote that comment. It wasn't intended for you. Sorry. Oh no, I'm just reading comments. Miss Taylor. So whenever someone says something, I'm just interjecting inside the comment that they're talking about. Kenneth, you have a sweet. Oh God. Clarence, Anthony and Amber skits are on. Anthony talk. He is not going to break Amber that hard again. Anthony going to break Amber's heart again. Yeah. You know what? Some people were down in Malachi about standing up for oh yeah, I'm gonna have to cut it so I can go record that one because that's what you're trying to tell me that is on. But everybody's trying to come down on Malachi about finally saying something to Amber when all this other stuff had happened. Man, that's a bunch of crap. Malachi was dealing with his own stuff because Malachi keep getting cheated on his darn self. So not only is he feeling upset about his sister, he's also dealing within himself because Malachi's a good man. Every woman he keep getting with is cheating on him to the point it almost drove him to a drinking problem. And so that's where he was. He was dealing with his own stuff. But sometimes people don't look at other people got problems, but they just want you to focus on their problems versus you trying to help them with theirs. Well. Amber is his sister, just like she's his brother. So why isn't Amber there for her brother while he's going through what he's going through? Yeah, Amber is going through something. So we got to be mindful that people have lives as well. So you can't come down on Malachi because he's around. That man dealing with his own stuff. You know? Mama Brenda does have wisdom. Titus 2 women teaching younger women to become Proverbs 30. Amen. There you go. There you go. Mama Brenda even tried to teach Latasi however, right? But we see how Latasi's on. That's why Mama Brenda said basically she shut her eyes to that one because she ain't right. That girl ain't right. Sometimes you gotta walk away from people. And just like you say, sometimes you gotta agree to disagree. Sometimes you gotta walk away from people because they just not gonna get it. They ain't ready to hear it yet. Anthony is truly taking baby steps to repair himself. But what we can do, hold on, let me turn on the thing. I gotta record it. What I can do is turn on the hold on, I'm trying to see if y'all can see it now. I could turn on the because I don't want them copyright me or nothing on me. I can cut the volume down, but I can turn it up once I get it on there. Because one of my lives I did, baby, we were dancing and everything, and then they had something that thing. I was like, nope, delete. You ain't gonna catch me on this. Hold on. All right, y'all, hold up. Here we go. I'm gonna go back and do a thing on it later. I hate watching this on my TV. This is a little where this is my room. I do all my recordings and I make cleaning and stuff. So this is my sewing room too. Hmm. Well, I don't like that though. I like the fact that he told her that. Who go to bed with all that makeup on? I don't wear makeup like that, but who go to bed with all the makeup on? Mm. Right, Ian Gray. I don't understand how he's telling her this. That don't seem genuine to me. Like you don't say that. I mean, that was between you and him. I don't know how I feel about that. Um, I don't know how I feel about that because here's the thing: you sitting there, you if you don't want her to know about it, then why are you moping around her? Clearly, she's gonna ask you what's wrong if you're moping around her, like what's going on. The fact that he sat there and told her brother checked him because of what he did to her, he rightfully so. He should have checked it. He should have check your mind about his sister because that's his sister. And from one man to the next, he knows when a man is being truthful and when he is not. And so clearly, if he felt the need to say something to you, he felt maybe you weren't being as genuine to his sister as you are making her believe you are. And so all this is God is my witness. Now I am leaning to the side that maybe his plan is start backfiring himself and he's falling for her. I am leaning towards that, but it's just some things that he do, like trusting the process and all this other stuff, and still be, with that cocky attitude when it comes to other people, when you should be more remorseful than cocky, is making me think that he's just trying to get control over the situation. So that just seemed disingenuous to me, that he is telling his wife about what her brother said. That's not a secret. That was just man to man conversation between the two of you. That wasn't no secret. That was him checking you for what you did to his sister. Point blank, period. That's all it was. Um, I still don't trust Anthony. I think God is slowly working on him. Yeah, I think some of that, you know, especially some of the stuff he's doing now. But of course, this is all the stuff he's doing around her and her family. What is he doing when he get in front of Shayla and her family? What is he doing when he get to the outside world? That's what I want to see. I don't want to see what you should be doing in front of her family, because that's what you should be doing. All right. But what is it that you're doing behind her back? Um, Anthony, the love that you have with Amber is over. And well, that's the truth though. No matter if they get back together or not, the man he was will never be who he was when she first married him. That will never be. She will never have that person back. Whoever he is now, that's the man she's going to get. And if he hasn't changed from the man he is now, she's going to still be in the same situation, just with a different person. And I think that different person is going to be Perry. I think him and Perry is going to get into something. But I honestly think Shayla's pregnant right now, so they're going to have another issue going on between them. Trust the process. What process? He even asked Amber to sell bar 44. Right, that's what I'm saying. So his actions, his mouth is saying one thing, but his actions is showing he's trying to get everything figured out to separate himself from Amber. Because even when he was knocking on that door with Shayla, and she said, "You left me and my son," he said, "I did not leave you and Kai. I did not." And that was after he told her to trust the process. Because before he went back to Amber, his plans was to ease her heart and to secure his money. That was his plan. So I think that's still somewhat his plan, but I think somehow he might be moving over towards her, but he ain't completely made up his mind yet. And right now, if he could talk to Shayla, but he can't because Miss Angelina is all in her ear, and she don't realize being in her ear is really hurting her daughter, because if she get out of here, her daughter can hear what he's saying. They might talk to each other, and he'll sue her over and kiss her and make love to her and everything else, because that's who he want to be with. That whatever they had is not the same, even if they stay together. Let what he says to Shayla Smart. Yeah, right. Let me say. He is a manipulator. He is choosing to be. She is choosing to. Right. That's what I'm saying, Miss Gray. But Mr. I'm sorry. Are you a Miss Gray, Nancy? Is that N Gray Taylor? I don't want to say woman, but you look like you use a woman, so I'm assuming you're a woman. Okay. That's what I'm saying. He might be saying one thing to her, but then saying something else to everybody else, which is disingenuous, which will bring in the same what Coca said to Amber. Don't let something that was meant to be a moment make you think it's a lifetime. And what she told Anthony, if you hurt this girl, you ain't got to worry about Shayla and her mama, but worry about the wrath of God. They said those two things for a reason. They ain't just say those two things for them to just be thrown out there in the air. And then the fact that Malachi came and he had that conversation with him about his sister. When they do stuff like that at Country Wayne, it's because they're setting the scene for something to explode. So Anthony's getting ready to go back to Shayla. Once Shayla get out of her feelings, because right now she's mad at him. And he is pissed off at her, because when he's not pissed off at her, if he's not wrong, watch how he act with her. Whenever he talks to her and he is not wrong about what he's saying, Anthony acts like a man. Whenever he's wrong with her and he did something wrong, he don't say nothing. He let her dog her out, and that's because he have a soft spot for her. He does have a somewhat of a love for her. What she gets what Amber cannot. Right? And Amber is what Shayla is not. So between the two, he got the perfect woman for himself, and that's what he likes, right? But now he has to pick and choose which woman you want. Do you want the one that make you exciting, that offered you a child and all this other stuff, or the woman that built a business with you and can continue to have a life with you as long as she can rebuild her trust with you? Which one do you want? And he's sort of like at that crossroad. His true feelings keep showing through by his actions. His actions with Shayla, that y'all keep thinking Shayla hitting on him and stuff like that, and he just allowing it to or whatever, and he taking whatever. Look at Tony. Tony today, he broke up with Shayna because she's like an auntie. But the minute when she pushed him, he said, "What you pushing on me for? Like you couldn't push me down the stairs." No, he was like, "I'm not. I'm done. I'm tired of this." That's how Anthony will be acting if he was over. And Tony 18, 19 years 19, I think. Tony 19 years old. So the fact that a grown behind man is sitting up here letting a woman hit all over them, you do that with your significant other if you want to be with them and you just dealing with their stuff. You don't do that with if it's baby mama and you ain't got no feeling for them, or your baby daddy, you ain't got no feeling for them whatsoever, and you want to be done with it because you with this person right here. You don't let them do that. No. So look at his actions. Y'all are so pissed off at Shayla that you're overlooking everything that he's doing. This man wants to be with Shayla. He does. He wants, in all her toxicity and all her toxic stuff, just because y'all see picking up this Bible, y'all thinking, oh, God is all in this, and he is not. Y'all feel like she's supposed to be with his wife, which that's how it should have been, but he didn't do that. But his heart wants Shayla. He loves, in his own little way, he loves Shayla. Anthony is still a Magic City playboy, right? Remember his friend said that's where they used to hang out and get their ladies, because in fact he thought he had one of the strippers pregnant. Yeah, Angelina, I'm a woman, babe. That's why I said, let me look, because I see that you're a little icon woman. So, and I said that when we first went in the chat. I said if you're, but y'all want to hear. If you want to put one, if you're female, put two. And he just want his house and money. That's all he wants. And I feel that's why they are having all the scenes on the porch, because I think Shayla dream was really Anthony getting kicked out of the house, not Amber. I think Amber's gonna get the house, and he's gonna get put out. But in her dream, because that's what she wants, she saw Amber put out the house, but it really was Anthony. I really think was pregnant again. So yeah, I think so too. I think she's pregnant. Shayla is going to accept being the side chick and not try to break them up. She will always accept his wife. No, sometimes the side chick do get the husband. Sometimes it does work out in the side chick favor, y'all. But like I said, they think they're winning. And Amber, and that's the thing. Amber is doing this because she don't want Shayla to win. She don't want Shayla to have what she had. She don't want Shayla to reap all the benefits of what she put into it. But what Amber don't realize is let her win, because she ain't winning nobody. She's winning your problems. She's winning your headaches. She's winning everything he would have did to you, but now she finna get it. And you gonna be all right. You're gonna have your business. You're gonna get other business. You're a businesswoman. You're a go-getter. Let it. Don't leave yourself down to this buffoonery. All right. And live your life. You don't need him. That's what Amber needs to see. She doesn't need him. She just needed, like I said originally, Amber just needed closure. And right now, Amber is forcing herself to be in this relationship because she don't want to seem like the one who gave up her marriage. And she don't want to seem to others. She don't want to seem that way to others, because all she ever preached to others was to stay with your man. And so now she's in the position where she has to stay with her man. But really, she don't want to stay with her man because of everything he done did to her. But she's worried about how she would appear. Amber is superficial to a certain extent. Okay, so she's worried about what people are gonna say. She was worried about people worried about whether or not she's gonna be back with him. That's your business. If you want to be with him, But whatever you choose what you choose. The only thing I say is let him show you something first. He didn't show her nothing. He didn't show no change. And people don't change overnight. And I don't care because you want to put a God into this and act like God can instantly change you. Yes, he could, but typically that don't happen. He has to show something. He needs to show change. But she's not demanding change from her husband. In fact, Shayla is demanding more change from Anthony than Amber is, and she's the wife. So she's still downgrading herself. She's still accepting the bottom. Amber accepting the bottom feeding. She ain't getting no woman of the God, even though she's speaking life into him, because she ain't requiring no change. She's accepting everything he's saying and nothing he's doing. Because he's not doing anything. Anthony really likes Shayla. He really does. Amber knows Shayla something that Anthony likes a lot. Right. Notice how she was. Notice how they got Amber in the kitchen now. So they're trying to show a naughty side of Amber because that's what he liked about Shayla. She was freaky. She was ready to do it with him. She wasn't concerned about what other people thought of her. She'll put on that maid dress if you want. She'll go across the sofa if you want. And matter of fact, even the very first time that they slept together, she didn't want it to be in the bed because she knows something exciting. And sleeping with him outside is something Shayla would do. So Amber did the same thing. She's trying to become what Shayla is versus waiting till her husband change into who he needs to be for her. That's all it is. Side piece never meant win. Girl, please. Side pieces always win sometimes. Girl, side pieces win. Like I said, Nancy, you came in late. You gotta watch the replay. They win the headaches. They win the cheating. They win all that stuff. Just let them have them. If they ain't right, you don't want them anyway. If they're not right, you don't want them. I've been married 30 years. And say how I know you've been married for a long time. Brittany told Amber to leave, and Brittany told Amber to leave. Right. That was her warning. Shayla was jealous of Amber. Yes, she was. But Shayla was jealous that she did have jealousy towards her best friend husband. She did try to go after her best friend husband. She was wrong for all that. I'm not saying she wasn't. But her best friend husband continued the affair. Her best friend husband said he wasn't that drunk and he got with her. Her best friend husband slept up with her right before he came to the house. He had stopped sleeping with her for about a week or so because he was staying over Perry house. So he had got pissed off with her. But then went back to his house. That's not enough time for separation because for the past year and a half, you've been knocking up Shayla. All right, so let's just keep it real. Shayla should never mess with her husband. That is correct. Shayla is crazy and a mess. That is correct. Anthony is a mess. That is correct. Perry are jealous of Amber. That is correct. Would not accept Anthony. I would divorce him. I wouldn't divorce him, but I definitely wouldn't accept him. But I wouldn't be with him. So, but you are correct. Wasn't it a week? It was that went to Jamaica. It was. That's why I said he been sleeping. How do you go from sleeping with this woman every single day for a year and a half to now you deadly in love wife? It don't make no sense. It don't make any sense. They went to Jamaica and still around here just yesterday telling your baby mama to trust you that here's the thing. If he wasn't trying to get back with Shayla, he wouldn't told her to trust the process because there's nothing to trust. There's no process to trust. You don't have to trust me. I just got to take care of my kid. That's it. So the process is the plan he had to woo Amber over. That's the process. And that manipulator is going to do whatever he can in order to make that happen. He has done nothing in action but talk with Barry White. Right. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. Hey, now you can love me some Barry White. There was a guy I knew in high school had a deep voice like that. It was so funny because he was tall and light skinned, and his brother was short and dark. He was the youngest, the tall one with the deep voice and everything. Hold on, I think I got it back. I got it back. No, the tall one that was light skinned was the young one. The little brother who was dark skinned and short had the deep voice, but it was crazy. It was just funny. But I was not the voice. And their age different. You would have thought the tall one was the older brother and the shorter one was the younger brother, but it was reversed. But then after they got out of college, he shot up. Like then he's really tall now. Um, but anyway, they reminded me of Barry White when I read your comment. Perry know Anthony is lying. She know Anthony loves Shayla. Right. He does. In his own weird way, he really does love Shayla. And Shayla does love him. It's toxic love, y'all. I ain't saying it's real love, but it's definitely love. They do love each other. Between that from Jamaica, they had a quickie when Anthony was rejected by him sexually. Right. Uh, oh, Angela got it coming for her. She really do. Cause she dead wrong. I don't care how you look at it, she is wrong. Wrong, wrong, wrong. Now she do be saying some right stuff, but her actions are very wrong. Perry loves and yes. And that's where I feel his karma is gonna come from. I believe Anthony's karma is going to be all the women turning against him. But I think him and Perry is going to kind of get into something, and he's gonna really give everything that he didn't give to Shayla and Amber to Perry. But Perry gonna be the one to bam. She gonna be the one to break his heart. This is true, Angela. I'm about that also. She may be stronger than we think. This is true. Mm-hmm. What Angela said. The wrath of God, right? Perhaps Amber should have waited to heal into right. And that's what I'm saying. They should have. I think this is why I say Amber took it into her own hands instead of letting God handle it. Nobody ain't been back at the church. Nobody ain't talked to Auntie Brenda or Miss Brenda. But when I made that little clip, he did talk to Miss Brenda before she started uh doing this miraculously quick flip around, and that's what made me think that maybe she got something up in her sleeve because she called him the devil, and then out of nowhere the next day she treating him like a king. I said, oh, Amber thinks she's slick, she finna get this joker. And all that had happened right after Brittany said what she said in the backyard. Once Brittany said that, it was as if something clicked in her. So that's what made me think that Amber got something else up in her sleeve, because here's the thing: she ain't run into Mama Brenda. She ain't run into the pastor. She ain't run into nobody, baby, about him and her that could guide them the right way. So I think Amber is taking things in her own hands. And that's where I think she's going to mess up. Because if they were separated, but they were separated. He was with another woman. He wasn't focused on healing. He wasn't focusing on anything. He was focusing on uh, Taylor. He wasn't focused on working out his marriage. So I think they should separate, both get counseling and guidance from Pastor and Mama Brenda. Mama Brenda need to talk to Amber. Pastor need to talk to Anthony. They need to live separately so that their hearts can want the other, and it will make them do things that they need to do the right way. It will force change on Anthony because he don't have easy access to Amber. So I think Amber needs to get out of his house and go to her house and live there up under the guidance of Mama Brenda. And I think Anthony needs to stay in his house and under the guidance of Pastor, and bring them back together to be a strong unit that can last 30, 40 years down the line. That's what I think once they heal. But you don't clash like this after bumping and grinding with your mistress a couple of days ago, and now you're bumping and grinding with your wife and y'all in true love. That just don't work that way. It don't work that way. I'm sorry. I don't know who's writing it. Well, I do know who's writing this stuff, but they're making it unrealistic. Okay, they're making it unrealistic. Something's going to happen to Anthony for and Shayla. I think something going to. Here's what I honestly think. I think Angelina is going to try to do something to Anthony as far as his business. But far as hurting him, if it's just his business, Shayla gonna let it go through. But because it's gonna benefit her. But if Angelina hurts Anthony, she gonna have a rap for her daughter because her daughter really love that man. She really do love that man, and that's where you're gonna find Shayla gonna stand up to her mama because she's not gonna let her mama hurt Anthony. Nah, she love him. She really does. She really does love that man. And that's where she gonna finally stand her mama because it's gonna be because of him that she's standing up to him. But as long as it's about money and benefit her, girl, mama can do it. She'll let her do it. Um, but yeah, they're gonna have to. All right, see you later, AS. Good night. They're gonna have to separate from each other. They're gonna have to go their separate ways and get healing the right way and come back together. That's the way y'all do it. All this, you don't know what God got planned for them. God might be telling her that God is not telling anybody to get into confusion. And right now, that house is full of confusion. There's no peace inside that home. It's a bunch of confusion. And just because stuff is being masked to look like the right thing, it's not the right thing. And people are forced. Amber herself is forcing this relationship on herself, and she ain't receiving it the right way because she's not getting the proper healing. It's this it's chaotic. It's a toxic marriage, right? Y'all think Shayla relationship toxic. Their marriage is toxic. The whole thing is messed up. Nobody's getting the help that they need. It's ridiculous. That's where I be trying to say that might not be coming across the right way videos. uh she always cried to eat Shayla. She feel remorseful. Yeah. And Amber, she keep letting her true feelings break through. She does. She like today when she said, I'm gonna be honest. When she said if I'm gonna be honest, that means the other times wasn't honest. If you said if I'm going to be honest. What should have said was although you feel like that, this is how I'm feeling. This is what you should have said. Not can I be honest or if I'm honest. Because if you say if, it implies that at some point you was not. So when was you not being honest with me? Neither one of them at this time can be dishonest to either one of them. You cannot build a marriage off of lies. A house built on not strong foundation will tumble. If that foundation is not strong, it's going to fall, right? And they're building their marriage on lies. Point blank, period. They're right. They're both lying. They're both lying to each other. So that's why it kind of bothers me when I'm sitting here seeing people who are supposed to be Christians, who are supposed to have the wisdom or the discernment of what's going on, buying into this buffoonery. God is not the author of confusion. He does not deal with confusion when it comes to stuff like this. He doesn't. And we can't make it into something that it isn't. We can't. And that's just the bottom line. But yeah, so the title, like I said, it was just to bring everybody in and stuff. And to let you know, side chicks do sometimes win. They just tend to win the wrong thing. They ain't getting the prize because the real prize is if they stick with their marriage and work it out and go through whatever they have to go through. The prize is their husband and their wife. It's not the side chick. The side chick get them, they're gonna get their problems. There will never be happiness in their home, and eventually it will fall too. Because you cannot build a solid foundation. You cannot build a house or a home on a weak foundation. That foundation has to be solid. It cannot be built on lies. Quicksand marriage. There you go. I don't think I ever heard that term, but I'm finna keep it, Miss Angela. Quicksand marriage. You cannot have a quicksand marriage. As a matter of fact, I'm finna write it down. Okay. uh, but this was fun, y'all. I enjoyed it. I'm gonna do another record that video before I go to bed tonight because I don't want to be behind trying to catch up tomorrow. Um, I'm gonna probably do another live tomorrow. Uh, tomorrow night. Hope to see everybody on. Man, this was fun. This was entertaining. This was very educational, even for myself. Man, I had fun talking. I will see y'all in the comment section. As always, be your brothers and your sisters keeper. Keep God first. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe, y'all. And toodle. I love y'all so much, and thank you for the support. Thank y'all.